Sometimes the hardest part of the night isn't the darkness outside, it's the noise within. The thoughts you tried to push aside all day now flood your mind like a storm that won't let you sleep. The what-ifs, the regrets, the decisions are waiting for you tomorrow. The silence of the room feels too loud, and your heart, though tired, cannot rest. Maybe no one sees it, but you've been holding it together for too long. You smile in front of others, but deep inside, you're exhausted from trying to stay strong. You want peace, not just for your body, but for your soul. You want to lay down and feel safe, covered, held, known. You're not asking for everything to be fixed tonight. You're just asking to breathe again. And that's exactly what God wants for you too. Not more striving, not another to-do list, just stillness, a holy stillness that begins when you remember you are not alone in this night. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Isaiah 40:29. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Matthew 11:28. This is not the kind of rest the world gives. This is sacred, eternal, protective. Rest that reaches into the core of who you are and tells your soul, you can let go now, you're safe. You don't have to keep rehearsing what went wrong. You don't have to have all the answers before your head touches the pillow. God isn't looking for your perfection. He's offering you His presence. His whisper is louder than the noise inside your mind, and tonight you'll hear it. You are about to enter a space where divine truths will quiet your fears. Through scripture, story, and metaphor, you'll be led into peace, not just the kind that helps you sleep, but the kind that helps you live lighter tomorrow. As you lie down, you won't be drifting into sleep alone. You'll be resting beneath the wings of the Almighty. You'll be walking through 15 invitations from God, each one a gentle doorway into rest. Through these next 3 hours, His word will speak into every worry, every doubt, every ache in your heart. You'll be reminded that it's okay to stop carrying the world on your shoulders. You were never meant to. You'll remember what it means to trust again, to be still, to feel joy, to feel loved, not because you did everything right, but because you are His. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. Psalm 23, 1-3. This night isn't an interruption of your faith journey. It's part of it. It's where God meets you, not in your doing, but in your surrender. So breathe slowly now. Feel the warmth of His nearness settle over you like a blanket. You are fully seen, deeply loved, eternally kept. Let go of the need to fix everything before morning. Let go of the guilt that keeps replaying in your thoughts. Let go of the fear of tomorrow. Be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Philippians chapter 4, 6-7. You don't have to earn this peace. You only have to receive it. God is already here. He's already leaning in. And as you close your eyes tonight, His voice will be the one that lingers. Not the enemy's lies, not your worries, not your exhaustion. This is your invitation to exhale, to rest, to begin again, cradled in His grace. And as you drift off, you'll be gently guided by His voice through 15 peaceful invitations, each one a reflection of His heart, speaking into yours. So rest now, beloved. You're not just going to sleep. You're returning to the arms of your Father. Let's begin. 1. When you feel overwhelmed, rest in the shepherd's arms. There are nights when everything feels too heavy, heavier than your hands can hold, heavier than your heart can carry. All day long, you've put on the brave face, smiling when your heart was breaking, laughing through clenched teeth, pushing through conversations when all you really wanted was silence. You've said, "I'm fine," so many times, it almost sounds believable. You've given pieces of yourself to everyone else, your family, your job, your responsibilities, until there's barely anything left for you. But now, the house is quiet. The notifications have stopped. The children are asleep. The world has dimmed its lights. And as the silence settles in, so does the ache. The weight you've been carrying, the worries you shoved aside, the fears you distracted yourself from, it all rises back to the surface. It presses on your chest in the dark. It winds around your thoughts like vines. It whispers that you have to keep going, that there's no room to fall apart. Even when there's nothing left inside you. You turn off the lamp, but your mind stays lit with questions. What if tomorrow's worse? What if I'm not enough? What if it all falls apart? The world tells you to hustle harder, to manage it on your own, to get up, even when you can't feel your feet beneath you. But the truth is, you're tired. Not just the kind of tired that a nap can fix. You're soul-weary, exhausted in that deep-down place where no one sees, where the heart hides its quiet wounds. Tired of pretending you're okay when you're not. Tired of being strong when you just want to collapse. Tired of carrying everyone else when no one's been carrying you. Tired of praying for peace at night, but waking up to the same storm every morning. Tired of being everything for everyone, and feeling like you're failing at it all. But beloved, you are not broken. You are not weak. You are simply human. A human who was never meant to carry this alone. A soul who was made for rest, not constant striving. A child who was created to be held, not just to hold it all together. You don't need a solution right now. You don't need another thing on your to-do list. You need a shepherd. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. Psalm 23:1. This is not a cold metaphor of authority or a rigid symbol of religious control. It's a portrait painted in the softest hues of compassion, an image of the most tender, watchful care. When David calls the Lord his shepherd, he's not describing someone who demands performance or perfection. He's describing someone who draws near, someone who sees, someone who stays. A shepherd isn't distant, sitting high on a throne, shouting orders from above. A shepherd lives among the sheep, smelling like them, walking with them, knowing every rise and dip of the terrain they travel. He wakes before the sun rises, not for his own comfort, but to make sure they're fed. He counts them as they pass under his rod, not because he doubts them, but because he refuses to let even one go unnoticed. He knows their rhythms. He can recognize the sound of their bleating in the dark. He can hear when one is anxious, even if the others are calm. He knows which sheep likes to wander off near the ravine. He knows which one hides in the back because it's been injured before. And he never scolds them for being needy. Instead, he gently calls them by name, their name, not a number, not a label, but the name he gave them when they were first entrusted to his care. And he never leaves them behind. When the wolves draw near, he steps between. When the weather turns cruel, he becomes their shelter. When the terrain is unfamiliar, he walks slowly so the weakest one can keep up. He never rushes the bruised or shames the broken. He carries the lambs in his arms, close to his heart, whispering peace into their trembling ears. I shall not want. These are not just poetic words. They are a declaration of trust. A promise that if the Lord is truly your shepherd, then you will not lack what you need. Not love, not peace, not hope, not protection. You may not always have everything the world says you should want, but you will never be without the presence of the one who knows exactly how to care for you. To say, I shall not want, is not to deny that storms will come or that valleys won't be deep. It is to rest in the truth that even there you will be guided, you will be guarded, You will be given what your soul most needs, even if it doesn't come in the package you expected. Tonight, let this verse sink in like warm oil over tired skin. Let it wrap itself around the weary corners of your heart. You don't need to keep grasping for peace. You don't need to keep proving your worth. You have a shepherd, a provider, a keeper, and because you do, you shall not want. He is enough, he is near, and he is watching over you now, even as you prepare to sleep. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. Psalm 23:2. When your mind is racing with 100 anxious thoughts, when your responsibilities feel like a rushing current threatening to drown you, God does not shout commands from a distance. He doesn't tell you to fix everything on your own. He gently takes your hand and says, "Come with me. I know the way." Green pastures are not chaotic places. They are places of nourishment and rest, places where the air is soft and still, where the soul is not asked to produce, but simply to breathe. And the still waters, oh, the still waters, represent the opposite of what many of us feel inside. They are not the flood of expectations, not the storm of demands, but the calmness of being seen, loved, and safe. He restores my soul. Psalm 23:3. Maybe that's what you need most tonight. Not answers, not solutions, but restoration. To be reminded that your soul is not too far gone, that your heart can heal, that your weariness is not a sign of failure, but a signal to rest, that God is not ashamed of how tired you feel. In fact, He expected it. That's why He came close, to restore you. To restore something means to return it to its original beauty and strength. It doesn't mean rushing. It doesn't mean performing. It means being still in the presence of the one who knows exactly how to hold you. He's not in a hurry to move on from your pain. He's not frustrated with your weakness. His hands are healing, not harsh. His voice is tender, not taxing. He leads me in paths of righteousness for His name's sake. Psalm 23:3. Even when you don't know the next step to take, even when you feel directionless in your career, your relationships, your calling, God is not lost. He knows the path. He has already walked it ahead of you, and He doesn't lead you to impress others. He doesn't lead you to earn His love. He leads you for His name's sake. That means your peace brings Him glory. Your healing reflects His faithfulness. Your restoration is part of His promise. So tonight, breathe. Breathe knowing you are not abandoned. Breathe knowing that the shepherd is near. He hasn't taken His eyes off you for a second. And no matter how scattered or overwhelmed you feel right now, He is gently guiding you towards still waters. You don't have to swim against the current. You don't have to carry the whole weight of the world. You don't have to keep pretending you're okay. You just have to rest. Let yourself be led. Let your soul stop striving. Let your tears fall if they need to. That's what green pastures are for, to lie down, not to perform, not to explain, just to be. And tonight, God is making you lie down, not as punishment, but as protection. He's slowing you down because He wants to heal you. He's holding you back from the rush because He wants to restore what the world has taken. He's saying, "Beloved, you've carried this long enough. Let me carry you." You are not alone in the valley. You are not too broken to be restored. You are not too lost to be led. You are not too weak to be loved. Let the shepherd hold you now. Let Him guide your soul into rest. And as your eyes begin to close, let this truth wash over every anxious place in your mind. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. Tonight, there is nothing you have to figure out, nothing you have to fix. Just this one sacred task: surrender, let go, and sleep in the arms of the shepherd who never sleeps. 2. When anxiety keeps you awake. peace that passes understanding. There are nights when sleep feels like a far-off place, just out of reach, like a door that keeps closing no matter how many times you try to walk through it. You lie still, but your mind does not. It paces. It questions. It replays every conversation, every decision, every what if, every what now. You stare at the ceiling while your thoughts run wild beneath it, dragging you into imagined disasters, future fears, unfinished lists, and the sharp edge of regret. You want to rest, but you can't stop thinking. You want to pray, but the words won't come. You want peace, but all you feel is pressure. And so the night stretches on, longer, heavier, like a slow tide pulling you deeper into dread. Maybe it's the fear of a diagnosis, the uncertainty of a job, the silence between you and someone you love. Or maybe it's nothing you can name, just an undercurrent of anxiety that wraps itself around your chest and tightens every time you try to breathe. You are not weak for feeling this. You are not alone for lying awake. Even strong believers feel anxious sometimes. Even those who trust God with everything can find themselves up at 2 a.m. wondering if they're doing enough, being enough, holding it together enough. But here, in the quiet of this night, when your thoughts won't stop racing and your soul feels thin and tired, there is a truth stronger than the noise in your head. A gentle, firm truth. A lifeline thrown straight from heaven to your heart. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Philippians 4:6-7. This is not God asking you to numb yourself. It's not a call to pretend that everything's fine when it's not. It's not a command to put on a brave face while your insides unravel. It's an invitation, a divine whisper, a sacred exchange. God is not saying, "Don't feel anxious." He's saying, "When you do, come to me with it, immediately. Don't hold it alone. Don't wrestle with it in the dark. Don't carry it like it's yours to fix." He's not waiting for you to polish your prayers or put language to every fear. He just wants you to bring them, raw, unfinished, imperfect. Bring him your spinning mind, your aching chest, your fear of what tomorrow may bring. Bring him your situation, however messy or overwhelming it feels. That's the key, in every situation, not just the ones you feel are spiritual enough. Every situation, every knot in your stomach, every invisible burden, every silent scream. He invites you to pour it out before him through prayer, an honest conversation, through petition, a heartfelt plea, and with thanksgiving, not forced, but as a recentering of your soul on the truth that even here, even now, God has been faithful, that he's still God, that he still sees, that he still loves. And then comes the promise. Not necessarily that the situation will instantly change, not that all your fears will vanish by morning, but that the peace of God, a peace that cannot be explained, calculated, or understood by logic, will take its place around your heart and mind like a guard. Picture it. Peace, not as a soft feeling, but as a strong, watchful protector. Peace, like a sentinel at the door of your heart, refusing to let fear break in again. Peace, like a quiet commander who tells your anxious thoughts to stand down. Peace, anchored not in circumstances, but in Christ Jesus himself. This is supernatural peace. This is not the kind that depends on outcomes or guarantees. This is peace that sits with you in the chaos and says, "Even here, I am enough." And it comes when you surrender, when you take all the scattered pieces of your heart and place them, shaking and honest, into God's hands. It comes when you stop rehearsing the worst-case scenarios and start remembering who holds tomorrow. It comes when you lay down your need to control and trust the one who already sees the end from the beginning. So no, this is not a command to shut off your emotions. This is a divine invitation to open your heart, to bring the whole trembling mess of your night to the feet of Jesus, to exchange your anxiety for his nearness, your panic for his peace, your striving for his shelter. He is not asking you to fix it. He's asking you to give it. And he promises to meet you in that surrender, not with more noise, but with rest. Let this be the moment where you stop trying to hold it all together. Let this be the breath where you choose to trust again. Let this be the verse that tucks your soul in tonight. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your heart and your mind in Christ Jesus. You are safe now, not because the storm is over, but because he is with you in it. And tonight, that's more than enough. Not just solutions, not just distractions, but peace. Peace that passes understanding. Not the kind of peace that comes when all the problems are solved or when everything makes sense, but the kind that shows up before the answer. The kind that doesn't need explanation or evidence. The kind that doesn't just sit beside your fear, it guards you from it. Picture that for a moment. Imagine peace not as a fleeting feeling, but as a strong and quiet guard standing at the door of your heart and mind. When anxious thoughts try to barge in, this peace raises its hand and says, "No, you may not enter here." When panic tries to flood your soul, peace becomes a gate that holds it back. When fear tries to twist your thoughts, peace steps forward like a gentle shield. And this peace, it doesn't come from positive thinking or wishful hoping. It comes from Christ, the one who calmed the storm with a word, the one who walked on waves to reach the weary, the one who knelt in a garden full of sorrow but still chose to trust his Father, the one who sits beside you even now whispering, "Give it to me, all of it, and I will guard your heart tonight." So you don't have to have it all figured out tonight. You don't have to anticipate every outcome or prepare for every potential storm. You don't need to sit there sorting through 1,000 invisible scenarios, playing defense in your own mind. You don't have to find the right words, the perfect solutions, or the strength to keep pretending everything's okay. It's enough that you're here. It's enough that you're breathing. And it's more than enough to be held. Let tonight be different. Let it be the night you stop negotiating with fear, trying to outthink what only God can untangle. Let it be the night you stop bearing what was never yours to carry. The night you give yourself permission to stop, to exhale, to trust. Anxiety is not your identity. Overthinking is not your spiritual assignment. Peace was never something you were meant to earn. It was a gift you were always meant to receive. So breathe in slowly. Let the presence of God fill the hollow places where worry has lived. Let him reach into the cracks you thought no one saw. Let him wrap around the tight places inside your chest. Breathe out gently. Let go of what you can't control, can't fix, can't hold together anymore. You weren't designed to carry the weight of the world. You were designed to walk with the one who already holds it. You are not alone. You are not broken. You are not weak for feeling this tired. You are human, and you are loved by a God who understands that. He's not asking you to be stronger. He's asking you to be still. He's not disappointed in your fear. He just doesn't want it to define you. You are not crazy. You are not failing. You are not too much. You are his. So tonight, let these words be a lullaby to your soul. Let them be the sound of heaven leaning near to whisper peace into your weariness. The peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your heart and your mind in Christ Jesus. Philippians chapter 4-7. That's a promise, not a maybe. not a wish. A divine guarantee from the God who doesn't change. Let him guard you now. Let his spirit hover over your mind like a blanket of light. Let his peace move into the places where panic used to dwell. You are safe to let go. You are safe to rest. You are safe to sleep. Not because the world is quiet, but because God is awake. The shepherd of your soul is standing watch. And you, beloved, are held. 3. When you feel alone. The God who never sleeps. There are nights when silence doesn't feel like peace. It feels like abandonment. When the hum of the refrigerator or the ticking of the clock becomes a haunting reminder that you're the only one awake. No texts come through. No calls ring in. The world sleeps, and you're left with your thoughts. It's in these moments that loneliness wraps around you like a fog, heavy and cold. You wonder if anyone sees you, if anyone hears you, if anyone knows how hard it is to be strong when you feel so unseen. You try to pray, but even your own voice feels small in the dark. You whisper into the stillness, hoping for comfort, but the silence only deepens. And maybe, just maybe, you're afraid that this is how it's always going to be, that you'll lie here night after night with a racing mind and an aching heart, too weary to cry, but too awake to sleep. It's not that you don't believe God is real, it's just hard to feel him when everything around you feels so empty. But beloved, there's a truth that reaches beyond this night, a promise that has echoed through generations of weary hearts, spoken not just to the confident, but to the broken, to the one lying awake, wondering if heaven has gone quiet. A whisper that stretches across time to meet you here. I lift up my eyes to the hills. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. Psalm 121, 1-2. These words aren't just poetic. They are a declaration from a soul that once stood where you stand now, looking up, searching, needing hope when none seemed near. The hills in ancient times were not only symbols of strength, but also high places of worship. To look toward the hills was to look beyond one's circumstances, to lift the gaze from the valley of fear to the horizon of faith. It was a spiritual reset, a reorientation of the heart toward help that does not disappoint. You don't have to see him to know he's there. You don't have to feel him to trust he's near. And you don't have to stay awake alone when the one who made the stars is standing guard over your soul. He is not the kind of God who retreats when night falls. He is not seasonal or selective. He is not pacing the heavens in worry or distracted by someone else's crisis. No, he is present, steady, close. The maker of heaven and earth doesn't need to be summoned. He's already near. You were never meant to face the night alone. The God who shaped galaxies and poured the oceans didn't forget you when the sun went down. He doesn't grow tired. He doesn't take breaks. He doesn't log off. His eyes are always on you, not in judgment, but in care. Tender, attentive, watchful love. A father who sees when your breathing changes. A shepherd who notices when fear steals your rest. He isn't startled by your questions. He isn't impatient with your weakness. He leans in when others pull away. He guards when others sleep. So even here, in the solitude of your room, you are not abandoned. You are accompanied. You are known. And you are loved by the one who never slumbers and never sleeps. The psalm continues with a tender assurance. He will not let your foot slip. He who watches over you will not slumber. Indeed, he who watches over Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. Psalm 121, 3-4. These aren't just comforting verses. They are holy promises whispered from the heart of God to yours. In a world where people forget to call, overlook your pain, or simply can't understand what you're carrying, this is your steady ground. God is paying attention, not casually, not intermittently, but constantly, like a guard posted at your door, like a father leaning over his child in the night. He will not let your foot slip. Speaks to more than just physical footing. It's about every step of your journey, your emotional balance, your spiritual direction, your mental stability. When your thoughts race, when doubt tries to shake you, when fear threatens to pull you down, He steadies you. Even when you feel like you're losing grip, He is holding you fast. You may not always feel it, but nothing about your life escapes His reach. He sees the moments you nearly fell apart, and He kept you. He who watches over you will not slumber. Think about that. When you can't sleep because your thoughts are too loud, your fears too sharp, your loneliness too deep, He's not sleeping either. Not because He's restless, but because He's responsible. Because He has chosen to stay awake for you, to stand guard, to keep watch through every dark hour of your night. His care doesn't clock out. It doesn't wear down. He doesn't miss the cries you whisper into your pillow or the tears that slide down unnoticed by anyone else. He notices, and He holds every one. Indeed, He who watches over Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. This isn't just for someone else. The same God who watched over His people through wilderness and exile, through battle and silence, is watching over you now. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are not lost in the crowd of prayers. You are the beloved of the One who never sleeps. And because He is awake, you are safe to close your eyes. You are safe to stop striving. You are safe to rest, not because the world is calm, but because your God is constant. Let that be your peace tonight. The Lord watches over you. The Lord is your shade at your right hand. The sun will not harm you by day, nor the moon by night. Psalm 121, 5, 6. These are not just poetic reassurances, they are sacred vows. This is the language of a refuge, the voice of a father promising to shelter his child. In the scorching intensity of daily life and the cold silence of midnight fear, God speaks this over you. I see you. I cover you. I shield you from what you see coming and from what you never even knew passed by. In ancient times, the sun was not just a symbol of light, but also a threat of weariness, heat stroke, and collapse. It represented the external pressures that beat down on you, responsibilities, expectations, demands that never seemed to end. The moon, on the other hand, was often tied to spiritual unrest, confusion, and unseen emotional struggles. Nighttime was feared for its shadows and the torment of the unknown. But God says He is your shade, your covering from both. The sun will not harm you by day, nor the moon by night. That is, nothing visible or invisible, nothing external or internal, nothing from the brightness of noon or the shadows of midnight will be able to break you when He is your covering. And did you notice where He positions Himself? Your shade at your right hand. The right hand is the place of strength, of action, of reach. God places His shade there to guard the part of you that carries your burdens, the part of you always reaching, always working, always doing. It's His way of saying, even in the places where you feel the strongest, I know how fragile you are. Let me shield that too. You don't have to brace yourself anymore. You don't have to keep your defenses up all night. The God who neither slumbers nor sleeps is not only awake, He is wrapped around you, over you, beside you, within you, and it goes deeper still. This shade is not temporary or conditional. It's not based on your strength or your perfection. It's not revoked when you're overwhelmed. God doesn't guard you because you earned it. He guards you because you are His. So tonight, let that truth settle into your bones like warmth under a blanket. You don't have to stay alert for what might hurt you. You don't have to rehearse what you'll do if the worst happens. The shade of the Almighty covers you now, gentle, watchful, and strong. The Lord will keep you from all harm. He will watch over your life. The Lord will watch over your coming and going both now and forevermore. Psalm 121, 7-8. This is not temporary care. This is eternal commitment. You're rising, you're resting, you're crying, you're rejoicing. He is in it all. He doesn't come and go with your emotions. He doesn't leave when the lights go out. He stays. He guards. He watches, not just from above, but beside you. In every room, in every hour, in every tear. So if your heart is aching in the quiet, if the loneliness is louder than your hope, know this: you are not forgotten, you are not overlooked, and you are certainly not alone. God is not just with you, He is for you, right now, right here, whether you feel Him or not. He is closer than the breath you just took. You don't have to keep checking the door. You don't have to keep scrolling, hoping for a sign that someone cares. You don't have to wait for the world to notice what heaven already sees. Your keeper is awake, your defender is near, and your soul is not without a home. So exhale, beloved. Let the loneliness fall away like shadows at dawn. Let the steady heartbeat of God's presence lull you into rest. You are watched over, you are deeply loved, and you are safe to sleep. Not because the night is over, but because the one who guards you never is. The night may feel long, but His presence lasts longer, and He will not sleep until you do. Let this be the night you stop feeling forgotten. Let it be the night you remember. The God who never slumbers is holding you now. 4. When you fear the future, trust in God's timing. There are nights when the unknown feels louder than anything else. The future doesn't just knock on your thoughts, it barges in, carrying every unanswered question with it. Your mind becomes a movie reel of possibilities, each scene drenched in uncertainty. What if you never find the healing you've been praying for? What if the door never opens? What if this season, this stillness, isn't preparation, but the end of the road? You lie there, staring at the ceiling, feeling the ache of time itself. The days blur together. The milestones others seem to reach so easily feel miles away. You whisper prayers in the dark, sometimes bold, sometimes barely audible, but the silence afterward feels heavier than the prayer itself. You replay choices. You analyze delays. You wonder if maybe you missed your moment, if maybe God has already moved on, if maybe you're too late for the life you hoped for. And time, it's not just ticking, it's taunting. It reminds you of your age, your setbacks, your unfinished dreams. You feel behind, even when no one said you were in a race. You compare your progress to others, not because you're jealous, but because you're scared. Scared that you were forgotten, slowed down, passed over. But beloved, you haven't missed it. You are not behind, you are not late, you are not overlooked. You are being held in a timing that is older than time itself. A sacred pace, not dictated by clocks or calendars, but by the eternal wisdom of a God who sees every hidden thing. And even now, in this still, sacred moment, there is a truth that holds the future in place. A truth that calms the anxious heart and settles the restless soul. He has made everything beautiful in its time. Ecclesiastes 3:11. Let these words be your anchor in the unknown. Let them speak louder than the ticking clock or the taunting fear. He is not finished with your story, and the beauty He's preparing will be worth the wait. This isn't a cliche. It's a divine certainty. It's not wishful thinking or spiritual fluff. It's a promise forged in eternity. When Scripture says, He has made everything beautiful in its time. It isn't speaking about surface-level beauty. It's speaking about divine transformation. It's about alignment, when what God has been weaving in the secret places finally reveals its brilliance in the light. God's timing is not like ours. He is not bound by deadlines or panicked by detours. He sees the beginning, the middle, and the end all at once. And from his higher perspective, nothing is wasted. Every delay, every setback, every door that closed was not the end. It was a redirection, a holy pause, a sacred preparation. You may feel like your life is running behind schedule, like you missed your moment, like you're watching others bloom while your branches remain bare. But friend, spring doesn't skip the tree that looks lifeless in winter. And God doesn't skip the soul that's waiting in the quiet. His promise is that everything, not just some things, not just the pretty parts, not just the easy wins, everything will be made beautiful in its time. That includes the years you cried in silence, the seasons you didn't understand, the jobs that fell through, the prayers that haven't been answered yet. It includes the time you spent healing, the time you spent hoping, the time you spent holding on when nothing made sense. There is beauty hidden even in what looks barren now. Just because you can't see the flower yet doesn't mean the seed isn't growing. In fact, the most sacred transformations often begin underground, hidden, quiet, unseen, but never forgotten. The delay is not your punishment. It's your preparation. It's the gentle hand of a God who refuses to rush what is holy, who refuses to serve you something half-baked, who is too loving to let you walk into something before you're ready to carry it with joy, not burden. Every chapter you thought was wasted, it's being rewritten. Every door you thought closed for good, it may just be waiting for the right key, the right moment. And every place you felt disqualified, He's rewriting your name there in grace. You are not behind. You are not disqualified. You are not invisible. You are becoming. Slowly, surely, beautifully. So tonight, let go of the need to understand the when. Let go of the pressure to catch up. Let go of the fear that you're missing it. You are not late. You are on holy time. You are moving to the rhythm of the one who holds galaxies and cradles sparrows. And when the time is right, His time, it will all make sense. The bloom will come. The beauty will break through. And you'll see it was worth every second of the wait. Tonight, take a breath. Let go of your timelines. Release the pressure to figure it all out. You don't have to predict the outcome or rush the process. You are not running out of time. You are moving through it with God, and He is never late. Let this night be a holy surrender. The night you stop trying to control what only God can complete. The night you unclench your fists and open your heart to trust again. Breathe in His peace, the kind that doesn't require proof. Breathe out your fears, the kind that were never yours to carry. You are not alone in the unknown. Even in this moment where the path ahead feels hidden, where the silence stretches long and your heart aches for answers, God is with you. You may not see the full picture yet, but you are being carried by the one who already knows how the story ends. The same God who hung the stars in perfect balance, who tells the oceans where to stop and the seasons when to change, that same God is holding your future too. Nothing is uncertain to Him. Nothing is out of place. The timeline of your life is not a series of accidents. It is the slow unfolding of something sacred. He has made everything beautiful in its time. This means even now, yes, even this has purpose. Even your waiting, even your wondering, even the quiet stretch of time where you feel forgotten or misplaced. None of it is outside of His hands. None of it is beyond His reach. And not 1 second of it will be wasted. You don't have to have all the answers tonight. You don't have to see how it will all come together. You are safe to breathe. safe to surrender, safe to let the weight of worry fall from your shoulders and into the hands of the one who never sleeps, never forgets, and never miscalculates a single detail. You are safe to rest, not because you figured it out, but because God already has. You are safe to wait, not because waiting is easy, but because waiting with God is never empty. And you are safe to believe, not because you see the full bloom, but because the soil of your life is being watered by grace. The ache in your heart is not a sign that you've missed your moment. It's a sign that something holy is still becoming, that God is still crafting, that the divine clock is still ticking toward beauty, restoration, and perfect timing. So tonight, release the pressure to predict the future. Let go of the fear that you've fallen behind, and lean fully into the presence of the one who says, "I know the plans I have for you," declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Jeremiah 29:11. These words weren't whispered in a time of comfort. They were spoken to a people in exile, a people who felt forgotten, displaced, lost in a story they didn't understand. And yet, God said, "I see you. I still have a plan. Even here, even now, hope is not cancelled, and your future is not forsaken." This verse is not a shallow promise to erase all pain. It's a divine assurance that even in the pain, there is purpose. Even in the detours, there is direction. It reminds us that God's plan is not reactive, it's redemptive. He doesn't just fix what's broken, He forms beauty from it. He doesn't just catch what's falling, He crafts it into something new. When your own plans unravel, this verse says, God's plans are still intact. When the timing feels off and the doors seem closed, this verse reminds you there is a divine calendar that cannot be rushed or delayed. You are not late. You are not lost. You are exactly where you need to be for grace to find you. I know the plans. That means you don't have to. You don't have to map out every possibility or predict every outcome. You don't have to carry the burden of figuring it all out. The one who formed you already holds the blueprint, and He doesn't make mistakes. You are not abandoned. You are not overlooked. You are deeply seen. You are perfectly timed. You are becoming who you were always meant to be. Let the unknown be a canvas in the hands of your Creator, not a threat, but a space for new beauty to unfold. Let the silence be a sanctuary where trust is built, a holy stillness where His whispers grow louder than your worry. And as you lie down to sleep tonight, know this: you are safe to let go, safe to close your eyes, safe to rest in the arms of eternal timing. You are not falling behind. You are falling into place. You are not disqualified. You are divinely positioned. You are not running out of time. You are being held by the one who authors it. Let your soul exhale. Let the night become a cradle. Let the promise of hope and a future be the lullaby that sings you to sleep. 5. When you feel spiritually drained, come drink from the living water. There are nights when your soul feels parched, not just tired, but hollow. Like the flame that once burned bright inside you has dimmed to a flicker. You've gone through the motions. You've lifted your hands in worship, even when your heart felt heavy. You've shown up for others, poured out prayers, spoken hope over broken places. But somewhere along the way, you forgot to drink for yourself. Now the well feels dry. You whisper prayers, but they echo back like silence. You open your Bible, and the words slip past your eyes without sinking in. You try to press through, but inside, it feels like you're running on fumes. And still, the world keeps pulling. People need you. Responsibilities call. You smile, but behind the smile is a soul quietly whispering, "I'm tired. I'm thirsty." There's a kind of exhaustion that sleep can't fix, a kind of thirst that coffee can't quench. It's the thirst of a soul that's been giving without receiving, hoping without refilling, trusting without resting. It's the ache of serving God, but secretly wondering if He's forgotten to pour back into you. You wonder why you feel so far away. You wonder what you did wrong. But friend, hear this now. You're not failing. You're not broken. You're not faithless. You're just thirsty. And that is not a condemnation. It's an invitation. You've been walking through a desert and pretending it's a garden. You've been showing up for everyone else while slowly fading inside, smiling while you starve, praying while you're parched. And maybe tonight, all you really want is something real. Not performance, not noise, not pressure, just presence, just Jesus. Because deep down, what your soul longs for is not another routine. It's not another checklist. What your soul longs for is living water. It was in a moment like this, when no one else was looking, when shame and thirst collided, that Jesus met a woman at a well. A woman who had been judged, discarded, and misunderstood. A woman who had spent years trying to quench her inner thirst with things that only left her more empty. She came to the well in the heat of the day to avoid the shame of others, but Jesus was already there, waiting. And it was to her, not to a king, not to a priest, but to this tired, thirsty woman that Jesus spoke one of the most life-changing promises in Scripture. Everyone who drinks this water will be thirsty again, but whoever drinks the water I give them will never thirst. Indeed, the water I give them will become in them a spring of water welling up to eternal life. John 4:13-14. Jesus wasn't just talking about physical thirst. He wasn't merely referring to the well in front of them or the desert heat pressing on her skin. No, he was reaching deeper. He was speaking to the invisible thirst beneath the surface, the kind that no one else sees, the ache beneath the smile, the exhaustion behind the effort. He was speaking to the unspoken longing in her soul, the same longing that lives quietly inside so many of us. The thirst to be seen without shame, the desire to be known without fear, the ache to be healed from wounds that go years deep, and the desperate hope that maybe, just maybe, there's more to life than empty wells and weary days. Everyone who drinks this water will be thirsty again. This was not just about ancient wells. It was a quiet unveiling of every substitute we've ever tried to fill the void with. Relationships, recognition, success, religion without intimacy, busyness that numbs the ache but never heals it. We drink and drink, hoping it will finally satisfy, but it never lasts. And Jesus, in His mercy, speaks this simple but life-altering truth. If the well you're drawing from isn't me, you'll keep coming back empty. But then, the invitation. Whoever drinks the water I give them will never thirst. It's not a demand. It's not a burden. It's a gift, and it's personal. The water I give. This isn't a transaction. This isn't religion. This is relationship. This is Jesus Himself reaching into your thirst with something eternal. He doesn't ask you to earn it, perform for it, or prove you're worthy of it. He simply gives, freely, lavishly, personally, because He knows what your soul needs even when you don't have the words to ask. He knows how long you've been trying to hold it together. He knows how far you've walked without rest. He knows the tears that never made it past your lashes. And He came, not to observe your pain from a distance, but to enter it, to quench it, to be your well in the wilderness. Indeed, the water I give them will become in them a spring of water welling up to eternal life. This is not just about being filled once. This is about being transformed. This is about having something placed within you that the world cannot take away. It's a well that doesn't run dry, a source of strength that's not based on your circumstances, a peace that's not held hostage by your performance, a joy that rises even in sorrow, a presence that flows in you and through you, not just to get you through the night, but to anchor you in the truth of who you are and who He is. A spring, not a puddle, not a trickle. A spring, constantly moving, alive, renewing, cleansing, overflowing. This is what Jesus offers. This is what He is. And it's not just for perfect people. It's not just for spiritual elites. It's for the thirsty, for the tired, for the soul that knows it's empty and longs to be filled again. It's for you, right now, right here. You don't have to pretend anymore. You don't have to perform. You don't have to carry a dry, cracked soul while smiling like you're fine. The well has come to you, and He's enough. Let Him fill you tonight, not with pressure or guilt, but with His presence, with living water, with love that doesn't run dry. Let that truth sink in. Jesus does not scold you for being empty. He invites you to come drink. He does not shame you for being weary. He welcomes you into His presence, and His presence is not a place you visit once. It's a well that lives within you. This is not about trying harder. It's not about pretending you're okay. This is about coming to the well that never runs dry. It's about leaning into the arms of living water and saying, "Here I am, Lord, I'm thirsty." And He doesn't turn you away. He fills you, again and again and again. You don't have to earn this rest. You don't have to impress God to receive His presence. You just have to come, as you are, with the cracks and the questions, with the dry places and the buried pain. Because Jesus didn't come for those who are full. He came for the thirsty, the tired, the spiritually dry. So tonight, let go of the pressure to perform. Let go of the fear that you've drifted too far. You are not a lost cause. You are not forgotten. You are not too dry to bloom again. Let Jesus be your well. Let His words wash over your soul like rain after a drought. Let the sound of His nearness quiet your doubts and soften your spirit. Whoever drinks the water I give them will never thirst. Let that become your lullaby tonight. Let it echo in your heart like a gentle stream, flowing softly through the dry places within you. These aren't just poetic words. They are divine reassurance. They speak directly to the deep places of fatigue, the quiet corners of your soul that have wondered if you'll ever feel full again. The parts of you that have tried everything the world offers, yet still feel hollow. And here, in the stillness of this night, Jesus whispers, "You don't have to live parched anymore. We'll never thirst." It's not just about the moment. It's about your identity. It means that your soul is no longer dependent on external sources for satisfaction. You're no longer a prisoner to the ups and downs of your emotions or the approval of others. You're not chasing empty promises or trying to draw life from broken wells. You're drinking from a source that never runs dry. You are being filled with something eternal, something that cannot be taken, something that satisfies not just your need, but your being. You are not empty. You are being filled. Even now, though you may not feel it yet, the living water is rising inside you. Quietly, patiently, faithfully. It fills the cracks the world left behind. It softens the hardened places. It nourishes what has withered in the drought. Every prayer you whispered in weakness, every tear that fell without sound, every weary sigh was seen, and this water has come in response. You are not forsaken. You are being restored. This water carries healing, restoration, grace. It reaches into your weariness, not with condemnation, but with compassion. You are not forgotten. You are not too far gone. You are not too dry to bloom again. This isn't a season of spiritual death. It's the beginning of something new. And He, the one who is living water, is both the source and the sustainer of your renewal. You are not spiritually dead. You are being revived. Revival doesn't always look like a burst of emotion. Sometimes it looks like stillness, like slow, quiet breathing, like an ember that hasn't gone out, being gently stirred back to flame. You may not feel on fire, but you are not abandoned. The Spirit of God is still moving within you, reviving, rebuilding, restoring. He is not done with you. He is just beginning. So tonight, rest in this truth. You don't have to be strong to be filled. You don't have to be perfect to be renewed. You don't even have to know what to say. All you have to do is come to the well. Let Him meet you in your dryness. Let Him whisper life back into your soul. Let Him fill you, not for performance, not for appearances, but because He loves you, simply, deeply, eternally. You are safe now, safe to stop striving, safe to stop pretending, safe to exhale. The living water is here, and you will never thirst again. Breathe deeply now. The desert is not your destination. The drought is not your identity. There is a well within you, and He is here. He is enough. He is living water, and He is yours. So tonight, you are safe to drink deeply, safe to return, safe to sleep in the arms of the One who satisfies your soul. 6. When the night feels heavy, He covers you with His wings. There are nights when the darkness feels heavier than usual. Not because the lights are off, but because the weight in your spirit is too much to carry. The day may have ended, but the pressure didn't. The fear didn't. The dread didn't. It followed you into the stillness, curled up next to you beneath the sheets, and whispered worst-case scenarios into the silence. You stare at the ceiling with a lump in your throat, not from panic, not from tears, but from the exhaustion of having to be okay when you're not, from fighting invisible battles that no one sees, from trying to keep the fear at bay with logic, distraction, or forced calmness. But the truth is, this night feels long, and your soul feels exposed. Maybe you've smiled all day while your heart was screaming on the inside. Maybe you've held it together for everyone else, only to come undone behind a closed door. Maybe you've prayed for peace, but silence answered instead. And now, in this dark hour, it feels like even God is quiet. You keep asking, what if it doesn't get better? What if the worst actually happens? What if no one comes through for me this time? The night feels like a fog that won't lift. Your thoughts won't slow down. Your chest is tight, and the shadows on the wall feel like they're pressing in. You reach for comfort, but everything feels out of reach. You try to sleep, but it's like lying in a storm without shelter. The stillness doesn't feel safe, it feels suffocating. And yet, even here, in this moment of vulnerability, when your soul feels threadbare and the night seems louder than God, there is a whisper, a holy hush that cuts through the noise, a sacred echo that speaks not to your fear, but to your safety. A voice as ancient as creation and as near as your next breath. It doesn't come with a shout. It doesn't need to. It simply wraps around your soul like a soft blanket laid across your chest and says, He will cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness will be your shield and rampart. You will not fear the terror of night. Psalm 91, 4-5. This isn't a fantasy. This is not just poetic language to calm children before bed. This is truth. This is your reality right here, right now, whether you feel it or not. The God who rules the heavens has made Himself your covering. Not a roof, not a wall, but wings. His wings. The wings of the Almighty, stretched wide in defense over you. He will cover you with His feathers. These aren't the feathers of fragility. They're the feathers of power cloaked in tenderness. Just as a mother bird hides her young beneath her wings, shielding them from storm and predator alike, so does your God shield you from what prowls in the dark, from what waits in the shadows, from what keeps you up at night. You are not exposed, you are not left out in the cold, you are hidden, cradled, held close to the heartbeat of the one who does not sleep. To be covered by his feathers is not a poetic sentiment. It is a reality that redefines safety. It means you are not fending for yourself in the wilderness of worry. You are not abandoned on the battlefield of anxiety. You are under the protective wings of a Father who sees everything and still chooses to shelter you. The feathers of God are not soft because he is weak. They are soft because he knows your wounds. He knows the pain you don't talk about. He knows the memories that rise uninvited when the lights go out, and he meets them with mercy. He wraps his wings around your fear and says, "You're safe here. You don't have to run anymore. You don't have to brace for the worst. I've got you." Think about that image, a baby bird trembling beneath the vast wings of its mother. The storm may rage, the branches may shake, but beneath those wings, there is calm. That's you tonight. Even if the wind howls outside, even if your thoughts are loud, even if the world feels unsafe, there is a sanctuary. There is a hush that happens beneath his covering. You are not unprotected. You are not forgotten. You are not alone in this night. He will cover you with his feathers. It's a divine embrace that blocks out the arrows of the enemy, a holy shield that turns terror into stillness, a promise that your vulnerability is not a weakness, but an invitation for his wings to wrap tighter around you. Let those feathers be your refuge now. Let them quiet your mind. Let them calm your breath. Let them remind you that the God who watches the sparrow is watching you, and under his wings, you are safe to sleep. His faithfulness will be your shield and rampart. Next, under his wings, you will find refuge. This is not temporary shelter. It's permanent belonging. A sacred place where fear has no authority and lies have no voice. A refuge means you're not just surviving the night. You're protected in it, watched over, guarded. There is no predator, physical, emotional, or spiritual, that can pierce the presence of God, and his presence is wrapped around you like a cloak. This is the kind of refuge your soul longs for, the kind not found in distractions, noise, or false comforts, but in the nearness of God himself. Under his wings is where your past loses its grip, where your present finds peace, and your future becomes safe again. It's where you stop holding your breath, waiting for the next blow, and start exhaling in trust. You don't have to keep scanning the shadows. You don't have to sleep with your armor on. You don't have to keep rehearsing your fears like a script. Here, in the shadow of his wings, you are not in danger. You are in sanctuary. Refuge doesn't mean the storm doesn't come. It means the storm cannot reach you where it matters most. It cannot unravel who you are in Christ. It cannot snatch you from the hands of your protector. It cannot rob you of the presence that surrounds you like a shield of light. And that's what his wings offer. Not just relief, but resurrection. Not just comfort, but covering. Not just a place to rest, but a person who rests with you. So tonight, when the shadows stretch long and the heaviness returns, remember, there is a wing stretched over you. A shelter built not of bricks or boards, but of promises that cannot fail. You are not lying here alone. You are beneath the eternal protection of the Almighty. And under his wings, you don't just find safety, you find him. His faithfulness will be your shield and rampart. This is not poetic filler. It's a foundation. A shield and rampart are not decorative. They are defensive structures designed to protect in war. And in the battles you're facing, whether in your mind, your emotions, or your circumstances, God's faithfulness is your defense. Not your knowledge, not your emotional strength, not how many Bible verses you've memorized. but His faithfulness, His consistency, His eternal reliability. This means that on the nights when your faith flickers like a candle in the wind, His faithfulness still burns like a roaring flame. When your courage is shaking, His protection remains unshaken. You don't have to brace yourself for every impact. You can lean back into the shield that is already surrounding you. His faithfulness is not based on how well you've done today. It's not revoked when you've failed or questioned or fallen apart. It's steady, strong, undeniable. A shield stops what you were never meant to carry. A rampart surrounds you on all sides, front, back, above, beneath. His faithfulness does the same. It absorbs what would otherwise wound you. It blocks the arrows of fear and accusation. It silences the lies that scream, "You're not enough," and replaces them with the unshakable truth that He is enough, and He is for you. So even if tonight you feel like a mess, like your prayers are broken syllables and your strength is on its last thread, you are still wrapped in the most secure covering imaginable, the faithfulness of God, unchanging, unfailing, undeniable. It surrounds you now like armor forged in heaven. Let your defenses down, let your burdens fall. Let His faithfulness do what your striving never could. Let it be your shield, let it be your fortress. Let it hold you until morning. You will not fear the terror of night. These aren't just comforting words, they're a declaration, a divine reversal. Because for so long, the night may have been a battleground for you, a place where fears crawl out of hiding, where thoughts spin faster than sleep, where dread feels louder than peace. But here, God speaks a different reality over your night. You will not fear, not because there's nothing scary, but because there is someone greater standing guard, someone stronger holding your soul, someone closer than your breath. You will not fear, not because your feelings aren't valid, but because fear is no longer your authority, no longer your master. It may still knock, it may still whisper, but it no longer rules you. It has been dethroned by the presence of the Almighty. The terror of night might come in many forms: anxious thoughts, racing heartbeats, memories you didn't ask to relive, panic that shows up without a reason. But none of it has a claim on you anymore, because the Lord of hosts is in your room tonight. Not in theory, not in poetry, in reality. He is here. He's not watching from some distant galaxy. He's kneeling beside your bed, speaking peace into the corners of your mind that feel like war zones. Holding you like a parent wraps a child in the safest embrace, whispering truths into the quiet that shatter every lie of darkness. You are not the prey of the night. You are the protected of the King. The God who commands angels now commands peace to settle over your sleep. The one who parted seas and raised the dead stands at your side saying, "You will not fear." And when God says you won't, no shadow has the power to say otherwise. So exhale, loosen your grip, let your shoulders fall, let your mind rest. The night cannot harm what God Himself is guarding. You are wrapped in promise. You are held in light. You are free to sleep, without fear, without tension, without torment. So tonight, you do not need to fight the dark. You don't need to analyze every feeling or fix every fear before you rest. You don't need to be your own protector anymore. Lay down your guard. Lay down your mental defenses. Lay down your what-ifs, your worst-case scenarios, your unspoken panic. Let the weight fall off your shoulders. Let the armor come off. You are not alone in this room. The shadow over you is not one of fear. It's the shadow of His wings. You are not surrounded by threats. You are surrounded by love. The same God who split the sea for His children covers you now in the quiet of this night. Breathe in, beloved. Let his wings stretch over your mind, your emotions, your body. Breathe out. Let the fear dissolve into peace. Let the lies lose their grip. You are covered. You are secure. You are surrounded by the presence of the Almighty. And in that holy place, you are safe to sleep, safe to exhale, safe to surrender, because the one who watches over you never slumbers. 7. When you can't let go of the past, he makes all things new. There are nights when the past won't let you sleep. You turn out the lights, but memories flicker like old film reels behind your eyelids. Moments you wish you could change. Words you wish you'd never said. Decisions you regret. Roads you never meant to walk down. And sometimes, it's not just what happened, it's what never did. The silence, the absence, the missed opportunities that still echo. You try to move forward, but something inside you still lives back there. Stuck, haunted by what was, afraid of what might never be. You wonder if you'll always be defined by it, if healing is for other people, if joy is reserved for someone who didn't make your mistakes. Maybe you've forgiven others, but you haven't figured out how to forgive yourself. And though you've grown, though you've survived, though you've kept going, a part of you still asks, can God really do something new with me? With this? And then, through the silence of your regret, a voice breaks through, not with shame, but with promise. Not with condemnation, but with hope. A voice from eternity itself that gently says, forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? Isaiah 43:18-19. Forget the former things. This is not God dismissing your story. It's Him freeing you from the weight of its chains. This isn't forgetfulness in the way the world defines it. It's release. It's the sacred act of loosening your grip on what you cannot change, so your hands are open to receive what He is preparing. God isn't telling you to pretend it didn't happen. He's telling you it no longer has permission to define you. Because what He's doing next isn't rooted in your failure. It's rooted in His faithfulness. Your future isn't postponed because of your past. His purpose isn't disrupted by your detours. God isn't recycling your mistakes. He's redeeming them. Every misstep is a canvas for mercy. Every scar is a testimony waiting to bloom. The former things were real, but they are not final. They were part of your journey, not the end of your story. When God says, forget, He's not erasing memory. He's removing shame. He's silencing the voice of regret that whispers, you'll never be free of this. He's canceling the authority of old labels, what they called you, what they did to you, even what you called yourself. He's lifting the burden of should-haves and could-haves and handing you something greater, the promise of now. And sometimes, forgetting the former things means releasing not only the pain, but even the pride of what once was. God's doing a new thing. And to receive it, you must loosen your grip on what used to work, what used to be, even the versions of yourself that were comfortable but not called. Forgetting isn't abandonment, it's alignment. It's saying, Lord, I trust that what's ahead of me matters more than what's behind me. So tonight, let these words be your comfort and your courage. You don't have to carry the past into tomorrow. You don't have to replay old scenes in your mind like a punishment. You are not the same person you were back then. You are growing. You are healing. You are being remade by the hands of grace. And the God who makes rivers in the wilderness is making a way in your wilderness too. Do not dwell on the past. That means stop setting up camp in places He's already delivered you from. Stop replaying scenes that no longer serve you. You are not what happened to you. You are not who you used to be. You are not the sum of your regrets. You are the work of a potter who never discards what he's shaping. You are still on the wheel, still in his hands, still being formed for glory. See, I am doing a new thing. These aren't just poetic words, they are a divine declaration of movement. God is not stagnant. His spirit is always working, even in silence, even in stillness, even when all you see is dust and all you feel is delay. See, he says, not because the new thing is obvious, but because it requires faith to perceive what hasn't yet come into full view. He's asking you to look with trust, not just with sight, to lift your eyes from the ashes of what's been lost and to notice the soft green sprout pushing through the soil of sorrow. He's doing something new, not a repeat, not a repair, not a slightly better version of what you had before, but something born of heaven, shaped by mercy and rooted in eternity. I am doing means it's happening right now, not tomorrow, not when you feel more ready, not when you clean yourself up, but in this moment, even as you doubt, even as you struggle, even as you sit in the in-between of what was and what will be, God is moving, behind the scenes, beneath the surface, within your very soul. You are not abandoned in your transition. You are being transformed in it. And the beauty of a new thing is that it doesn't require the approval of your past. It doesn't ask for permission from your pain. God is not intimidated by your history. He's writing your destiny. The same God who parted the sea and made a path through the desert is making a way for you. You may not understand the route, but you can trust the guide. So tonight, let this promise cradle you like a blanket. You don't have to dwell on what broke you. You don't have to pitch a tent in the ruins of yesterday. You are not what happened to you. You are not who you used to be. You are not the sum of your regrets. You are the beloved of a potter who never discards what he's shaping. You are still on the wheel, still in his hands, still being formed for glory. Let the past fall like autumn leaves. Let your hands open wide to the gift of now. Let your soul rise to meet the dawn that hasn't yet broken, because he is doing a new thing, and it has already begun. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? This is not a vague hope. It's a quiet reality already in motion. The word now means it's not waiting for a perfect version of you. It's not held back by your failures or paused until your feelings align. Now, even in the middle of uncertainty, grief, or guilt, God's new work is breaking through. And it springs up, not trudges or drips, but springs. There is an energy to it, a life force pulsing with divine purpose, bubbling beneath the surface of your waiting. Even when you don't see it fully formed, even when your surroundings feel barren, God is planting something that will not stay hidden. He is the God of sudden blooms, of quiet turnarounds, of fresh mercies and morning light. Do you not perceive it? It's a gentle question, not a rebuke. God isn't scolding you for missing the signs. He's inviting you to slow down, to soften, to pay attention. Perception isn't always about eyesight. It's about inner sight, spiritual awareness, the ability to sense God moving even when your situation hasn't changed. It's the sacred hush that whispers, something new is happening in me, even here, even in the aftermath, even in the silence, even in the dark. Sometimes the new thing doesn't look like a miracle. It looks like a deeper breath, a lighter step, a smile that returns without forcing, a prayer that rises from your chest instead of getting stuck in your throat. So tonight, don't measure progress by what's visible. Let the eyes of your spirit catch what your natural sight may miss. The small breakthroughs, the softened fears, the gentle stirring of hope, new peace, new identity, new dreams. They're not figments of your imagination. They're fingerprints of His restoration. God is not just fixing the old, He's forming the sacred. He's turning your wilderness into a well-watered garden, one tender miracle at a time. Breathe deeply. Lay your regrets at His feet and open your heart wide to what's already unfolding. The past is not your home. Your new season is rising, and it begins tonight. So tonight, let the past rest. It has nothing new to say. Let it fall like leaves from a tree, making space for spring. Let go. Not because it never mattered, but because God has something better. Something you haven't seen yet. Something that breathes with promise and drips with redemption. You are not too far behind. You are not too broken. You are not disqualified. You are on the verge of newness. And God, your God, is already making a way. In the wastelands, in the wilderness, in the quiet places where no one else sees. He sees, He knows, and He's not done. So tonight, breathe in hope, breathe out regret. Let the God who makes all things new remake your heart, your thoughts, your future. You are safe to release what was, safe to embrace what is becoming, safe to sleep, wrapped not in shame, but in grace. 8. When guilt keeps you awake, grace is greater than your mistakes. There are nights when your mistakes speak louder than your prayers, when everything you've done or failed to do plays on repeat in your mind like a movie you can't pause. You toss and turn, haunted by the words you wish you could take back, the decisions you regret, the pain you caused, or the peace you forfeited. You replay old conversations, broken promises, missed opportunities. And somewhere between shame and sorrow, you start to wonder, have I gone too far? Have I messed up one too many times? And the whisper of guilt becomes a roar in the quiet of your soul. You should have known better. You should have done better. You don't deserve peace. You don't deserve rest. Maybe you carry a memory that still stings every time it surfaces. A moment you wish you could undo. A chapter you try to forget but never fully escape. You wonder if you've disappointed God so deeply that He's quietly stepped back. You fear that grace has a limit and you've reached it. So you cover it up with busyness. You pretend with smiles. But alone in the dark, the shame seeps in. You feel unworthy of rest, unworthy of joy, unworthy of even whispering His name. But beloved, there's another voice, one that speaks louder than condemnation, stronger than shame. It doesn't deny your past, but it doesn't leave you stuck in it either. It's the voice of the one who came not to condemn, but to redeem. He doesn't look away in disappointment. He draws closer in compassion. He doesn't tally your failures. He covers them in mercy. And in the stillness of this night, He speaks these words over you like a balm to your aching soul. Therefore, there is now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. Romans 8:1. Let this truth wrap around you like a warm blanket. You are not forsaken. You are not finished. You are not beyond redemption. You are forgiven. You are free. And you are deeply, eternally loved. Let those words sink deeper than guilt ever did. No condemnation, not because you never sinned, but because someone else took the condemnation in your place. The cross didn't just forgive your past, it erased the record of it. That means shame has no legal grounds to haunt you anymore. That means guilt has no room to accuse you. That means the voice of grace now speaks louder than the voice of failure. This is not a loophole. It's not God turning a blind eye to sin. It's God opening His arms wide to sinners and calling them home. No condemnation means your debt has been paid in full. Not half, not almost, full. And tonight, you don't have to keep paying for what Jesus already covered. You don't have to keep punishing yourself when the punishment has already been placed on Him. You don't have to carry guilt that's been nailed to a cross and buried in a grave. So breathe. You are not the exception to his mercy. You are the reason for it. There is now no condemnation. That word, now, is everything. It doesn't say once you've cleaned yourself up. It doesn't say after you've proven you've changed. It doesn't say when you've prayed hard enough or punished yourself long enough. It says now. Not when you feel holy, not when you've made amends, not when your shame has finally quieted. Now, right here, right in the middle of your guilt and grief, right in the silence of this night, where your heart aches and your mind won't rest. Now, in this room with the lights off and the weight of your regret pressing down, you are not condemned. Now, as you remember what you wish you could forget, you are still covered by grace. Now, with your past still whispering and your conscience still trembling, you are held by the one who already paid for all of it. You don't have to earn this freedom. It's already yours. You don't have to beg for peace. It's already been spoken over you. Let the word now become your lullaby tonight. Let it hush the accusations in your head and soothe the trembling in your spirit. Now you are forgiven. Now you are free. Now you are wrapped in the mercy of the one who never stopped loving you. And now you are safe to rest, safe to exhale, safe to fall asleep, not condemned, but completely, beautifully, undeniably redeemed. Let this be the night guilt loses its grip. The night the replay button in your mind is finally released. The night you stop analyzing the details of your failure and start accepting the fullness of his forgiveness. You've cried over it, you've carried it, you've questioned your worth because of it. But beloved, you were never meant to be the keeper of your own redemption. You were never meant to climb your way back into grace. Grace came down to you, and tonight, that grace is here. Let it be the night shame is silenced. Not because you've explained yourself enough, but because the cross already answered every accusation. Let it be the night the voice that says, "You'll never be enough," is interrupted by the voice of the one who says, "You are already mine." You don't have to keep punishing yourself for what Jesus already paid for. You don't have to keep living like your past has the final word. It doesn't. Love does. Let it be the night you stop rehearsing your failures and start receiving his forgiveness. Let grace wrap around you like a blanket, not asking for explanation, only surrender. You don't need to defend yourself before a God who already defended you with his own blood. You don't need to hide in the shadows when his mercy is calling you into the light. He's not surprised by your weakness. He's not disillusioned by your struggle. He's the God who washed Peter's feet, knowing Peter would deny him, and still called him rock. You are not what you've done. You are not the names shame has given you. You are not your worst moment or your biggest mistake or the sum of your failures. You are not broken beyond repair. You are his. You are loved. You are cleansed. You are covered by grace, and that grace doesn't wear off when you feel unworthy. It deepens. It strengthens. It restores. So tonight, let the weight fall off your shoulders. Let the relentless pressure to be perfect give way to the quiet power of being loved. Let his mercy cover what your mind keeps uncovering. Let the wounds you keep reopening be gently bandaged by the hands of a Savior who knows them and still calls you beloved. You are safe now, safe to stop striving, safe to stop explaining, safe to sleep, not because you've earned rest, but because grace has made a way for it. And as your head touches the pillow, may this truth cradle your heart. There is now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. You are no longer defined by what you did. You are defined by who he is. Rest in that. Rest in him. Let his blood speak louder than your memory. Let his cross declare your innocence. And as you close your eyes, know this. You are safe to release what he already redeemed. You are safe to rest in the righteousness you did not earn. You are safe to fall asleep, not in your guilt, but in His grace. Let these words hold you gently, like a lullaby from heaven. There is now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. You are not condemned. You are covered. You are cradled by grace. And tonight, you are safe to sleep. 9. When you're waiting on a miracle, the Lord will provide. There are nights when the waiting aches more than the problem itself, when you've prayed until your voice ran dry, believed until your heart grew tired, hoped until the silence made you question if heaven still hears you. You've watched others receive their answers while you remain in the hallway, knocking, hoping. Maybe it's healing you're waiting for, or provision, or reconciliation, or clarity. And though you smile by day, in the stillness of night your soul quietly asks, Lord, will you come through for me? You've heard the sermons, you've quoted the promises, you've tried to stay strong, but tonight you're weary. Not because you don't believe God can, but because you're wondering when. Because the days feel long, the nights feel longer, and the miracle feels like it's on the other side of a mountain you're too tired to climb. You're not angry, you're not bitter, you're just exhausted from carrying hope without seeing the harvest, from praying bold prayers into a quiet sky, from holding on when your hands feel numb. You wonder if you missed something, a sign, a step, a door you should have opened, or a moment you should have moved. You replay the sequence, questioning whether your obedience was enough, and underneath it all is the question you don't dare speak aloud. What if the miracle doesn't come? But beloved, even in the waiting, even in the weariness, God is not distant. His silence is not absence. His delay is not denial. There's a name He gave Himself, etched into the story of a man who also climbed a mountain with empty hands and trembling faith. It was the name whispered into existence when everything seemed lost. The name spoken not in a palace of peace, but on an altar of anguish. So Abraham called that place, "The Lord will provide." And to this day it is said, "On the mountain of the Lord it will be provided." Genesis 22:14. This was not a moment of comfort. This was a moment of testing. Abraham wasn't standing in a sanctuary. He was standing on a mountain of uncertainty, carrying a future he didn't understand and a faith that trembled with every step. He had walked beside his son, Isaac, the very promise God had given him, and yet now God had asked him to surrender it, to lay down the very thing he had waited years to receive. No instructions, no guarantees, just a call to trust. And Abraham went, up the mountain, heart pounding, soul aching. His hands held the fire and the knife, but his heart clung to a whispered hope. God Himself will provide. He didn't know how, he didn't know when, but he believed, even through the ache, that provision was coming. And then, at the very moment it seemed all was lost, just when the knife was raised, just when obedience had led him to the edge of heartbreak, the angel of the Lord called out. A ram caught in the thicket, a substitute, a miracle. Not a second too early, not a moment too late. It came not at the base of the mountain, not halfway up, but right at the top, at the altar of surrender. Because sometimes the miracle doesn't show up until you've climbed, until you've obeyed without answers, until you've stood in the tension between I believe and I don't understand. This is the timing of Jehovah Jireh, the God who sees before you reach the peak, the God who prepares what you cannot yet see, the God who will never let the knife fall because He already has a ram waiting. The provision has been set in place. The answer is already en route. It just hasn't reached your sightline yet. So tonight, let this truth wrap around your heart. You are not forgotten on your mountain. You are not walking alone. You are not being set up for despair. You are being set up for a miracle. The Lord will provide. Just as he did then, he still does now. Jehovah Jireh, the Lord who provides, the God who sees. This isn't just a name, it's his nature. It's who he has always been and who he will always be. Before there was a need, there was a provision. Before there was a question, there was an answer. Before the mountain was ever climbed, the ram was already waiting. He sees the end from the beginning, and the path that winds through the unknown is fully visible to him. He sees the sacrifice you've made in secret, the way you've chosen integrity when no one else was looking, the prayers you've whispered through tears, the nights you've given instead of received, the days you've smiled while silently aching. He sees all of it, and not one moment has gone unnoticed. The eyes of the Lord are on the righteous, and his ears are attentive to their cry. Psalm 34:15. He is not absent in your waiting. He is not pacing in heaven wondering what to do. He is intentional, strategic, compassionate, and he does not delay without purpose. Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay. Habakkuk 2:3. What feels like silence is often divine setup. What looks like withholding is often God orchestrating a blessing that goes beyond what you even knew to ask for. Sometimes his greatest gifts are wrapped in unfamiliar timing. Jehovah Jireh doesn't just give what you want. He provides what you truly need. Peace that calms even when the circumstance doesn't change. Strength to walk until the answer comes. Joy that doesn't depend on the outcome. He provides encouragement through a verse at just the right time. Confirmation through a friend's unexpected call. Courage through a dream in the night. His provision is both spiritual and physical, both subtle and supernatural, and always, always on time. So if you're standing on your mountain tonight, unsure of what's next, let this truth echo softly through your soul. He is Jehovah Jireh, the God who sees you, the God who provides for you, the God who never fails. On the mountain of the Lord it will be provided. Genesis 22:14. These are not just poetic words. They are a sacred promise etched into the story of every believer who has ever waited in faith. This means your miracle doesn't come in the place of ease or certainty. It doesn't meet you at the bottom of the hill where everything is comfortable and clear. It meets you on the mountain of surrender, the mountain of obedience, the mountain where you walk without all the answers. Provision is often waiting at the peak, not because God is cruel, but because something in you is being shaped on the way up. He's not just preparing a breakthrough, he's preparing you to carry it. Your faith is being refined with every step. Your trust is being stretched with every unanswered question. And though the climb is steep, every moment matters. Not a single tear is wasted. Not a single sigh is overlooked. The God who required the journey is also the one who walks it with you. On the mountain of the Lord, it will be provided. That means your provision is tied not to your perfection, but to your position, to your willingness to go where He calls, even when you don't fully understand. It means the miracle shows up in the place where worship costs something, where surrender isn't just a word you say, but a road you walk, where obedience isn't easy, but it's real. It's on that mountain that you see the ram caught in the thicket. It's on that mountain that you realize you were never alone, that the very thing you thought you'd lose was the space where God would reveal His greatest glory. Your mountain isn't the end of the story. It's the stage for His faithfulness to be seen. So tonight, if you're weary from the climb, rest in this truth. He sees you. He's walking with you. And when the time is right, on the mountain of the Lord, it will be provided. And beloved, you are not climbing alone. The same God who met Abraham on that mountain is meeting you on yours. He sees your heart. He sees your sacrifice. He sees your need. And though you may not see the ram yet, He has already set it in motion, already prepared the answer, already made a way. You may feel like you're in the middle of the test, but the miracle has already begun behind the scenes. So tonight, breathe. Let go of the pressure to figure it all out. You don't need to orchestrate the outcome. You don't need to strain your soul trying to make something happen. That's not your job. It's His. You are not the provider. You are the beloved child of the provider. The one who parts seas and opens wombs and breaks chains. The one who multiplies loaves and walks on water and shows up in the fire. The one who does impossible things on ordinary nights like this one. Let your pillow hold more than your head tonight. Let it hold your fears, your needs, your unspoken cries. Lay it all down. Let God be God. Let Jehovah Jireh provide in His perfect timing, in His perfect way. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. You are being watched over by the God who sees and the God who provides. And as you close your eyes, let this truth cradle you into rest. The Lord will provide. Not just for others, not just in theory, but for you, right here, right now. You are safe to wait, safe to trust, safe to sleep under the wings of the one who never forgets His own. 10. When you can't hear God, the whisper in the silence. There are nights when God feels silent, when you lie in the dark straining to hear Him, but all you get is stillness. You ask for answers, but none come. You seek direction, but the compass seems broken. You beg for a word, a sign, a dream, anything, but heaven feels quiet. And in that silence, your mind fills the gap with fear. What if I'm doing something wrong? What if He's disappointed in me? What if He's gone? You scroll through memories of when His voice felt near, when scripture came alive, when worship stirred your soul. But now, everything feels dull, distant, dry. You pray, but it feels like you're talking into the void. And the silence starts to feel like abandonment. But beloved, silence is not absence. Stillness is not rejection. God is not ignoring you. He's inviting you deeper. Sometimes the loudest thing He says is nothing at all. Sometimes He doesn't shout over the chaos. He waits until you're still enough to hear the whisper. That's where Elijah found himself. After a dramatic display of faith, after fire fell from heaven, after victory over the prophets of Baal, you'd think the next chapter would be filled with more fire, more miracles, more clarity. But instead, Elijah found himself running, hiding, burnt out, depressed, begging God to end his life under a tree. And that's where the Lord met him, not with thunder, but with tenderness. Not with a roar, but with rest. The Lord said, "Go out and stand on the mountain in the presence of the Lord, for the Lord is about to pass by." Then a great and powerful wind tore the mountains apart and shattered the rocks before the Lord. But the Lord was not in the wind. After the wind, there was an earthquake, but the Lord was not in the earthquake. After the earthquake came a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire came a gentle whisper. 1 Kings 19:11-12. Do you see it? The wind came, the quake came, the fire came. But God wasn't in them. He was in the whisper, the still, small voice, the kind that doesn't demand attention but offers intimacy, the kind that doesn't overwhelm but draws you in close. The gentle whisper is where God speaks to your soul, not just your circumstances. It is not loud because it doesn't need to be. It is not forceful because love never has to push. It is soft enough that only those who are still can hear, but powerful enough to realign your whole life. This whisper is sacred, holy, not just a sound, but an atmosphere, a divine presence that wraps around you in the quiet and reminds you, I am still here. Not just observing from a distance, but right beside you, nearer than your very breath. The whisper bypasses your surface-level concerns and goes straight to the root of your heart. It bypasses the whirlwind of what-ifs, the storm of your emotions, and the earthquake of your anxiety. And it goes deeper, to the ache, the longing, the quiet cry you haven't dared speak out loud. I haven't moved. God whispers, not to be mysterious, but to draw you closer. So close that your spirit has to lean in. So close that your striving has to pause. So close that your fear has to hush just to make room for him. I haven't changed. The same God who whispered to Elijah still whispers to you. Through his word, through his spirit, through quiet moments where the world dims and his presence expands. But to hear him, you must surrender the noise, the rush, the need to understand everything. Because sometimes the silence isn't a void, it's an invitation. It's a pause that's pregnant with presence, a divine hush that prepares the soil of your heart for something eternal. So don't misinterpret the stillness. It isn't God's silence, it's his strategy. It's not punishment, it's preparation. But because we're so used to equating movement with progress, noise with presence, and answers with love, we often misunderstand the stillness. We panic when we can't hear anything. We assume God has stepped away. We assume he's uninterested, uninvolved, or perhaps even disappointed in us. But that's not what the stillness means. In the language of heaven, stillness is sacred. It's not absence, it's alignment. The stillness is where God rewires you gently. He's not rushing, he's not reacting, he's refining. Like a skilled artist brushing away the dust to reveal what was always hidden underneath. He uses the silence to shape you without distraction. It's in the stillness that the deepest healing often happens, not through thunder, not through fire, not through earthquakes, but through the subtle recentering of your soul. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. That's not just a suggestion. It's an invitation to step into the atmosphere where transformation begins. In the stillness, he whispers healing over the chaos of your heart. You may not see it happening, but beneath the surface, wounds are closing. Lies are being unraveled. Old fear is losing its grip. You're being rewired from the inside out, not with panic, but with peace. And when your soul is finally quiet enough to receive it, you begin to perceive what Elijah perceived. Not a harsh deity standing far off in disappointment, but a tender Father drawing near in mercy. Not a voice of wrath, but a whisper of rest. A whisper that says, "You are still mine." A whisper that reassures, "I never left you." A whisper that quiets every storm with its very presence. And in that whisper, there's no need to perform, no need to fix yourself, no need to fear. Just breathe, just be, just listen. The stillness is not empty. It's full of God. You are not forgotten in the quiet. You are being formed in it. Let this be the night you stop fearing the quiet and start listening in it. The whisper is already here. So tonight, don't resent the silence. Don't rush to escape it or fill it with distractions. Don't let your mind convince you that silence equals absence, that quiet means rejection, or that the stillness is some kind of spiritual failure, because it's not. The silence might just be the sacred pause where heaven leans in to hold you. Rest in it. Don't demand a thunderous word. Don't demand clarity on your timetable. Don't wait for lightning to strike or for every answer to come rushing in. Instead, listen for the whisper, the quiet reassurance that slips past logic and rests gently on your soul. The whisper that doesn't always change your situation, but always changes you within it. The whisper that tells you you are not forgotten, not lost in the shuffle, not overlooked among the masses. You are not wandering alone through this night. You are being led, even when the steps feel small. You are being carried, even when your strength is gone. Your Father has not gone silent. He is simply waiting for your heart to grow quiet enough to hear him again. After the fire came a gentle whisper. 1 Kings 19:12. Not a shout, not a spectacle, a whisper. Because God is not trying to overwhelm you, he's drawing near. And in that whisper, there is peace. In that whisper, there is direction. In that whisper, there is love. So breathe. Let the noise fade. Let the questions soften. Let the pressure lift off your shoulders like dust in the wind. You don't have to force his voice. You don't have to perform to earn it. You don't need perfect prayers or perfect faith. You only need a willing heart, a surrendered heart, a still heart. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. Not be strong and know, not be loud and know, just be still, and you will know, you will sense him, you will feel him near, because he is still speaking. And tonight, his whisper is enough. 11. When you're battling fear, be still and know. There are nights when fear doesn't just knock, it barges in without permission. It creeps into your bedroom like an unwelcome shadow, curling around your thoughts and clutching your chest until even your breath feels borrowed. It doesn't wait for an invitation. It doesn't care how strong you were during the day. It arrives in the quiet, in the dark, in the stillness, demanding your attention. And suddenly, every unresolved question feels louder. Every hidden worry becomes urgent. You're afraid of what could go wrong, of what already has, of what might never be made right again. You're afraid of being left behind, of losing someone you love, of being too much or never enough. You try to outthink it. You try to bury it beneath rational reassurances and whispered prayers, but still, it lingers. It clings to the corners of your heart, haunting your mind like an echo you can't silence. You remind yourself that God is good, that God is near, but the fear doesn't let go. And deep down, beneath the layers of faith and fight, you whisper what you've been too ashamed to say out loud. If God is really with me, why am I still afraid? Beloved, that question does not disqualify you. It doesn't make you faithless. It makes you human. It means you care. It means you're awake to the weight of the world. But the beauty of God is that he doesn't shame you for your fear. He invites you into a peace that runs deeper than it. Not a peace that denies the storm, but one that calms it from within. A peace that doesn't require performance. A peace that isn't found in striving or controlling or knowing how it will all turn out. This peace begins with a pause, a sacred slowing, a breath, a returning. And right there, in the very place where fear thought it had the final word, comes the whisper of heaven. A divine invitation that has outlasted generations, spoken gently now over your restless heart. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. Be still. These two words might sound simple, but they are among the most powerful in all of Scripture. They are not a whisper of apathy, they are a command of divine intimacy. Stillness is not weakness. It is sacred trust. It is the posture of a soul that has finally stopped trying to outrun what only God can handle. Stillness doesn't mean you don't care. It doesn't mean you're ignoring the storm. It means you've finally decided to stop rowing against the wind in your own strength and start trusting the one who can calm the sea with a word. It means you've realized that peace is not the absence of chaos, it's the presence of God in the chaos. To be still is to release your grip, not because the situation has resolved, but because you've remembered who is sovereign. It's to stop rehearsing every scenario and start resting in his supremacy. Stillness is an act of faith that says, I don't have to micromanage this moment because God is already in it. It means you put down the mental lists. You silence the inner critic. You lay aside the need to prove, to perform, to earn, to fix. You turn off the noise, both around you and within you, and let yourself breathe in the holy hush of trust. Stillness is what happens when the soul finally exhales, when you stop striving to hold it all together and start realizing He already is. And in that moment, when you choose stillness over striving, you make space for the sacred. You make space for peace. You make space for a deeper awareness that God is not only with you, He's for you. So tonight, as you prepare to rest, let this be more than a verse. Let it be your posture. Let it be your prayer. Let it be the place where you meet the God who doesn't demand your perfection, but welcomes your surrender. Because in the stillness, you don't lose ground. You find God. And know that I am God. This is not a surface-level reminder. It's a soul-level reorientation. It is an invitation to root your entire being in a truth deeper than fear, stronger than emotion, and more constant than circumstance. Know does not mean simply recall or remember. It means to recognize with reverence, to see with spiritual eyes, to anchor yourself in holy certainty. It is a knowing that sinks into your bones, that breathes peace into your lungs, that meets you in the darkest part of the night and gently reminds you, you are not God. He is. It means that your fear doesn't get the final say. Your diagnosis doesn't define your destiny. Your bank account doesn't limit His provision. The whispers of self-doubt, the storms in your mind, the doors that haven't opened, none of these hold the power that He does, because He alone is God, sovereign over outcomes, steady through every storm, present in every silence. When He says, I am God, it is not a distant proclamation, it is a loving assertion of His closeness. It is the voice of the one who has seen your days before you lived them. The one who knows the end from the beginning. The one who holds the whole universe in His hand and still has room to hold you too. He is God. Not your fear, not your past, not your weakness, not your timeline, not your uncertainty, not even your strongest enemy. He is God and He is good. So tonight, let that knowing become your pillow. Let it cradle your worry. Let it silence every voice that said you had to figure this out alone. You don't, because He is still God and He is still here. So breathe in and know. Know it deeper than you've ever known it before. He's not asking you to fix it. He's asking you to trust Him with it. He's not waiting for your performance. He's waiting for your surrender. Be still and know that I am God. Let that be the whisper that rocks you to sleep tonight. Let that be the truth that tucks you in. You are safe because He is God and He is enough. And in the stillness, you begin to see what fear tried to hide, that God has not left you, that He's not pacing or panicking, that He is seated in peace, reigning in love, and surrounding you with a presence greater than anything that opposes you. So tonight, let fear lose its power. Let the noise of the what-ifs be silenced by the I am. Let your soul rest in the truth that you don't have to figure everything out. You don't have to fight alone. You don't have to perform for peace. You are already seen, already known, already held. Let stillness be your shelter. Not the kind that merely hides you from the noise, but the kind that holds you through it. Let it become a holy pause between heartbeats, a sacred hush where fear cannot breathe and anxiety has no voice. Let it be the quiet place where striving ends and healing begins. And let knowing that deep, quiet confidence in who God is be the anchor that keeps you steady when everything else feels uncertain. Let His presence calm your heart like a gentle river washing over stone, not rushing, not forcing, but shaping you with grace. Let it flow through every anxious place, every clenched thought, every place inside you still bracing for impact. Let it smooth the rough edges of your worry. Let it soften the sharpness of your fear. And let it speak peace, not just to your mind, but to the weary places within you that haven't known rest in a long time. And as you lay your head down tonight, whisper these words gently to yourself, not as a demand to perform, but as a gift to receive. Be still and know that I am God. Let them be the lullaby that silences fear. Let them be the blanket that covers shame. Let them be the truth that replaces tension with tenderness. You are safe now. Safe to stop rehearsing the worst-case scenario. Safe to stop bracing for what might go wrong. Safe to stop carrying what was never yours to fix. You are safe to let go, to close your eyes, to exhale. Not because the world has changed, but because the one who holds it has not. You are not alone in this night. The God who commands the stars to shine is here, right here beside you. Not pacing above you, not observing from afar, but sitting with you in the silence, whispering peace to your storm. His hands are over your heart. His voice is over your fear. His love is over your life. So tonight, surrender the need to understand. Release the pressure to control. And rest in the truth that is bigger than your fear and deeper than your questions. He is God, and He is enough. 12. When you've lost someone, carried in eternal arms. There are nights when the silence feels unbearable, not because it's quiet, but because the one you love is no longer here to fill it. Their voice once echoed through the halls. Their laugh once lit up the room. Their presence was your anchor. And now, there's a space no words can fill. A chair that sits empty. A memory that rises uninvited. A grief that arrives like waves, unexpected and relentless. You try to be strong. You tell yourself they're in a better place. You remind yourself of what you still have. But in the stillness, in the moments between breaths, you feel it. The ache of absence, the questions that swirl, the tears that fall when no one else is watching. You wonder if the pain will ever soften, if joy will ever return, if you'll ever feel whole again. But beloved, there is a comfort deeper than loss, a promise older than time, a truth strong enough to hold you in your sorrow. The eternal God is your refuge, and underneath are the everlasting arms. Deuteronomy 33:27. Let those words wrap around you like a blanket tonight. You are not falling into an abyss. You are falling into arms, everlasting ones. You are not drifting without anchor. You are resting in the embrace of the one who never lets go. The eternal God. These are not just words to fill a page. They are a lifeline in seasons of loss. Eternal means everlasting, not confined by time, not bound by circumstances. He existed before your first breath, and He will remain long after your final one. Before your sorrow took shape, before the goodbye ever broke your heart, He was already there, holding space for you, holding hope for you, holding the pieces of your soul you didn't yet know would shatter. He is not a temporary shelter or a seasonal comfort. He is eternal. That means His love for you isn't limited to the good days. His nearness isn't dependent on your strength. His comfort doesn't expire when the tears keep coming. He is the God who remains. When people leave, when life changes, when nothing looks like it used to, He doesn't move. This God, the eternal God, is not removed from your pain. He doesn't stand at a distance watching you unravel. He steps in, into the ache, into the silence, into the raw, unanswered questions, into the parts of your soul that long for one more hug, one more laugh, one more moment. He doesn't run from your grief. He sits with you in it, eternal, and yet intimate, sovereign, and yet so very near. Because while everything else feels fragile, uncertain, and temporary, He is not. He doesn't shake when your world does. He doesn't panic when you fall apart. He doesn't flinch at the depth of your sorrow. He simply remains, still, faithful, present. And in His eternity, there is room for every loss, every ache, every sacred tear. So when the pain rises and nothing makes sense, let this truth be your anchor. The eternal God is your refuge. He is the place you can run when the world breaks open. He is the one who existed before your heartbreak, and the one who promises to walk with you through it and beyond it. You are not walking through this alone. You are walking with the eternal God, the one who has always been and who will always be yours. Is your refuge. This is more than a poetic promise. It's a holy reality, a whispered invitation to crawl beneath the weight of your grief and rest in the only arms strong enough to carry it. He is not just your theology, not just the verse you memorized years ago, not just a concept you visit on Sunday mornings. He is your refuge, a real place, a shelter with walls of mercy and a roof of compassion, a haven for the weary, the broken-hearted, the undone. Your refuge. That means when the memories hit like waves, He's the shore you crash into, safe, unmoved. It means when you lie in bed and the tears won't stop, you're not alone in the dark. He is right there, holding space for your sorrow, speaking silence into your panic, singing peace over your pain. A refuge is not where you go to perform, it's where you go to breathe, to collapse, to let the mask fall. You don't have to be strong there. You don't have to have the right words. You don't have to know how to fix the ache. You simply have to come, because He welcomes you there. He is your refuge, not because you have it all together, but because you don't. Not because your faith is flawless, but because His love is. This is the heart of your Father, not demanding you stand tall, but inviting you to fall safely into Him, to cry without censorship, to grieve without apology, to lay down the armor you've been wearing just to get through the day. And in that sacred hiding place, you are not just shielded, you are seen, held, understood in a way that no one else can reach. He is not waiting for you to move on. He is waiting to hold you while you're still in it. He is your refuge. When the world doesn't make sense, when the goodbye still stings, when the questions don't have answers. So tonight, when the weight feels unbearable, retreat into Him. Collapse into the refuge that is not made of stone or brick, but of love. Eternal love. Love that listens. Love that heals. Love that holds. And let Him do what only He can do. Wrap you in peace that defies explanation, and anchor your soul in the stillness of His presence. And underneath are the everlasting arms. This is not just poetic comfort, it's divine reality. a truth that holds you even when everything else gives way. Because sometimes grief doesn't knock, it just sweeps in. It floods your soul, it buckles your knees. And there are moments, maybe even tonight, when you don't have the strength to stand anymore, when it feels like you're slipping through the cracks, when your emotions are louder than your prayers, when even breathing feels like a labor. But the word whispers back with a promise so tender, so fierce, so deeply secure. Underneath are the everlasting arms. Not human arms that falter, not temporary hands that come and go. Everlasting arms, timeless, tireless, unshakable. Arms that have held the broken-hearted since the beginning of time. Arms that carried the cross and now carry you. It means even when you collapse, you don't hit the ground. You fall into Him, into love that doesn't demand you be okay, into strength that doesn't shame your weakness, into a presence that doesn't flinch when your heart cries out in the night. You may feel like you're unraveling, but He's holding every thread. You may feel like you're falling, but you are being caught, carried, gently, constantly, eternally. Because the arms of your Father aren't symbolic, they are sustaining. They're underneath you in the doctor's office. They're underneath you at the graveside. They're underneath you when everyone else goes to sleep and your soul is still aching wide awake. You don't have to hold yourself together. You don't have to pretend the pain is gone. You are allowed to break, because He is the one who holds what breaks. And His arms, they do not grow weary. His grip does not loosen. His love does not run out at your lowest point. So tonight, lean in, let go. Be still in the truth that you are not falling apart. You are falling into everlasting arms. Let Him cradle your sorrow. Let Him steady your breath. Let Him carry you until your heart is ready to walk again. You are not alone in your grief. You are not forgotten in your sorrow. You are held, and these arms will never let you go. These everlasting arms are not unfamiliar with sorrow. These are the arms that carried the cross, the arms that welcomed the prodigal, the arms that wept at Lazarus's tomb, the arms that stretched wide to redeem every ache, every loss, every goodbye. These arms know what it means to grieve, and they know how to hold you in it. You are not a burden in your sadness. You are not too much in your mourning. You are beloved in your brokenness, and you are held. So tonight, let yourself cry if you need to. Let the memories come. Let the ache rise, and let it fall into God's embrace. He doesn't rush you through grief. He doesn't expect you to move on. He simply invites you to move with Him. One breath at a time, one night at a time, one step at a time. You are not forgotten. You are not alone. And this pain, as deep as it is not deeper than His love. It may echo through your chest like a hollow ache. It may swell behind your eyes like a tide that refuses to break. It may feel unspoken, even unspeakable, but it is not unreachable. Because there is no grave too final, no goodbye too permanent, no sorrow too overwhelming for the arms of eternity. The weight you carry tonight is not invisible to God. He does not look away. He leans in, closer than the next heartbeat, quieter than the next breath. And though others may not understand the fullness of your grief, He does. He sees the moments you hold back tears just to make it through the day. He sees the pictures you can't bring yourself to take down. He sees the places where your soul still bleeds. And He isn't intimidated by the depth of your mourning. He enters it. He sits in it with you. And He carries you through it, not just as a comfort, but as a promise. So as you lie down to sleep tonight, let go of the pressure to be okay. Let go of the mask that smiles while your soul trembles. Let go of the fear that your grief is too much for anyone to hold, because it isn't, not for Him. Let your tears be sacred offerings, not signs of weakness. Let your questions be safe in his presence, not pushed aside. And let your heart, heavy as it may be, find refuge in the one who never asked you to carry it all alone. The eternal God is your refuge, and underneath are the everlasting arms. That's not just a verse, it's your reality, right now, in this very room, in this very breath. You are not standing on fragile ground, you are resting in everlasting arms, arms that do not tremble beneath the weight of your sorrow, arms that held the cross and hold your heart with the same unwavering strength. You are carried, you are cradled, you are covered, and yes, even here, even in this moment, you are safe. Safe to stop performing, safe to stop pretending, safe to sleep in the arms of the God who never leaves, the God who never breaks, the God who whispers, "Even here, I am with you." So exhale now. Release what you were never meant to hold alone. Close your eyes, not in despair, but in trust, because you are safe to sleep. 13. When you doubt your worth, you are his beloved. There are nights when the question beneath every thought is simple, but painful. Am I enough? You replay the day's failures and feel them sink like stones in your chest. You think about the words you wish you hadn't said, the goals you didn't meet, the people you feel you've disappointed. You remember the rejection you tried to shrug off, but it still lingers in your bones. And in the quiet, beneath the smile you wore all day, beneath the strength you forced yourself to carry, there's a voice whispering, "You're not good enough. You're not lovable enough. You're not worthy enough." And maybe part of you believes it, because you've measured your value by your productivity, by your beauty, by your success, by your relationships. And now, alone in the dark, you feel like a shell of someone who was supposed to be more by now. But beloved, there is another voice, one that doesn't come to weigh or accuse, but to redeem and restore. A voice that breaks through the lies you've absorbed from the world, from your past, even from yourself, and speaks a name over you that is holy, sacred, and unchanged. A voice that calls you not by your mistakes, but by your identity. And into that silence, into your deepest insecurity, comes this eternal truth. Do not fear, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name. You are mine. Isaiah 43:1. I have redeemed you, not ignored you, not condemned you, not passed you by. Redeemed. That word is weighty with mercy. It means every scar you carry, seen or unseen, has been touched by the hand of restoration. It means the chapters you wish you could erase are not the end of your story. They are the pages where grace has been written in ink that does not fade. To be redeemed is to be rescued from shame, reclaimed from despair, and restored to your original worth. It means God did not look at your brokenness and turn away. He leaned in, he reached down, and he brought you back, not as damaged goods, but as someone of immeasurable value. I have called you by name, not by your sin, not by your mistake, not by your failure, by name. That means he sees you beyond your struggle. He knows the real you, not the version you show the world, but the one who cries when no one is watching, the one who wonders if they matter, the one who tries so hard to be strong. He knows your quirks, your voice, your story, and he doesn't just tolerate you, he treasures you. The God who spoke galaxies into motion calls you by name. Not, "Hey, you," not the one who messed up, not the disappointment. He says your name with the tenderness of a father who has never stopped loving you. And then comes the most powerful declaration of all, "You are mine." 3 words that silence the accuser. 3 words that hold you steady when the world feels unkind. You are mine. Not because you earned it, not because you always get it right, but because he chose you, claimed you, loved you before you even knew how to love him back. That means you are not defined by your past. You are defined by his promise. You are not identified by your wounds. You are identified by his word. And that word is final. That word is eternal. That word is yours. So tonight, rest in this. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible. You are not replaceable. You are seen, known, and loved by the one who knit you together in your mother's womb. And no label this world tries to place on you, failure, not enough, too much, broken, can stand against the voice of the one who whispers over you, you are mine. You don't belong to your failure. You don't belong to your past. You don't belong to what they said about you or what you said about yourself. You belong to him. And belonging means security. It means you're not earning love. You're held in it. It means you're not proving your value. You're protected by it. God doesn't wait until you get it together to call you beloved. He calls you that now, before the healing, in the middle of the doubt, right here, as you are. So tonight, let that truth wash over every place that feels unworthy. Let it whisper into the gaps where comparison once lived. Let it silence the voices that told you you're too much or not enough. You are not forgotten. You are not rejected. You are not overlooked. You are seen. You are named. You are his. You don't have to strive to be loved. You already are. Not for what you produce, not for what you fix, not for how much you give. You were loved before your first breath, before your first cry, before your first mistake. Loved when you were unseen, when you were unproven, when you were simply a heartbeat in the secret place. Before you performed, before you succeeded, before you failed, you were chosen. Before the world ever handed you a measuring stick, heaven had already written your name on the palm of his hand. You don't have to hustle for worth. You already have it. Not because of your resume, not because of how well you held it together, not because of how eloquently you prayed or how strong you appeared in public. Your value isn't earned by applause or performance. It was assigned by your Creator. He saw you and he said, "Good." He knew every part of you, your laughter, your wounds, your dreams, your doubts, and still, he called you his. Still, he said, "You are worth dying for." And you don't have to shrink to fit anyone's mold. You weren't made to be quiet when your spirit wants to sing. You weren't made to contort yourself into boxes of expectation just to be accepted by people who didn't make you. You were handcrafted by the same God who carved the mountains and colored every sunrise. He made you in his image, which means you carry the spark of the infinite in your being. You are not random. You are not a mistake. You are unique, intentional, limitless. So tonight, lay down the mask. Lay down the performance. Lay down the false narratives that told you love must be earned and value must be proven. The truth is deeper than that. The truth is, you are already loved, already valuable, already enough, not someday, not when you finally become who you think you're supposed to be. Now, right now, just as you are. Let this truth wrap around you like a warm blanket. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are seen. You are known. You are deeply, eternally loved. So breathe now, not just with your lungs, but with your soul. Exhale the lies that told you you're too much or not enough. Exhale the guilt that has overstayed its welcome. Exhale the pressure to measure up. And inhale the truth. Inhale the mercy that greets you like morning light. Inhale the love that doesn't shift with your mood. Inhale the grace that meets you where you are, not where you think you should be. You are called, not by shame, but by name. You are cherished, not for your perfection, but for your position as His. You are carried, not because you're weak, but because you're loved. And tonight, you are safe. Safe to let go. Safe to breathe. Safe to believe again. You are safe to rest, not as someone trying to earn their place, but as someone already claimed, as someone already loved, as someone already held. I have called you by name. You are mine. Isaiah 43:1. Let that be your lullaby tonight. Let it be the arms you fall asleep in, because you are not lost, you are not abandoned, you are not forgotten. You are His. 14. When you're longing for rest, come to me and I will give you peace. There are nights when the kind of tired you feel doesn't go away with sleep. When your body aches, but it's your soul that's crying out. Crying for relief. Crying for something to change. Crying because you've been carrying so much for so long that you can't remember what it feels like to breathe without a burden. You've been strong for everyone, smiling through the pressure, showing up when no one knew how much it cost you. And now, in the quiet of this night, you're not just tired, you're weary, soul-weary, the kind of weary that settles in your chest and doesn't leave, no matter how much you sleep or how much you distract yourself. The kind of weary that comes from years of surviving when you were meant to thrive. The kind that whispers, you can't keep doing this. And maybe you can't. Maybe you weren't meant to. But then comes a voice, not from the chaos, not from the demands, not from the world that keeps asking for more. A voice that is gentle, steady, kind, and it speaks not to your appearance or your output, but straight to your soul. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Matthew 11:28. Come to me. These are not just words. They are the heartbeat of a Savior who sees right through the masks we wear and into the ache we carry. This isn't a command laced with pressure. It's a plea wrapped in compassion. Come to me. Not to a program, not to a platform, not to a philosophy that makes you earn your peace, but to a person, a shepherd, a friend, a father. Jesus doesn't say, come to church, or come when you've figured it out. He says, come to me. Come messy. Come raw. Come exhausted. Come as you are. Because He knows. He knows what it's like to walk roads that feel too long. He knows what it's like to be surrounded and still feel alone. He knows what it's like to carry burdens that bend the soul. The one who bore the cross doesn't flinch at your pain. He reaches for it. And He says, you don't have to keep pretending. You don't have to keep holding it all together. I will hold you. This invitation is not for the perfect. It's not for the strong. It's for the weary, for the one who has nothing left, for the one who lies awake wondering how they'll make it through tomorrow, for the one who's tired of pretending to be okay. This is a divine call to collapse, in grace, not guilt, to lay it all down and discover that you are not too far gone, that you are not too broken, that you are not disqualified by your heaviness. Come to me means you are welcome in your weakness. It means He doesn't wait at the finish line. He meets you in the middle of your mess. It means He doesn't reward the ones who get it all right. He restores the ones who come home with nothing left but trust. And when you come, He doesn't hand you another task. He gives you rest, not borrowed rest, not temporary escape, but real soul-deep rest that silences the shame and stills the storm. So breathe now, not because your world is perfect, but because your soul is held. You don't have to hustle into His presence. You just have to turn your heart toward Him. And even if all you can do tonight is whisper his name through your tears, that's enough. That's all. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart. Matthew chapter 11:29. This isn't the voice of a taskmaster. It's the voice of a shepherd who walks beside you, step for step. Take my yoke upon you. Jesus is inviting you to a sacred exchange. A yoke in biblical times was a wooden harness used to link two animals together so they could walk in unity, side by side. But this isn't a yoke of slavery. It's a yoke of companionship. One that doesn't weigh you down, but lifts you up. Jesus doesn't hand you a burden and walk away. He steps into the yoke with you. He carries what you cannot. He pulls what you were never meant to drag alone. You are not dragging your pain. He is shouldering it with you. Take my yoke. That means release the yoke of shame, the yoke of perfectionism, the yoke of people-pleasing, and the pressure to prove your worth. Lay down the weight of doing life on your own and let your soul be tethered to the one who is strong when you are weak, steady when you are shaky, and faithful when you are falling apart. And learn from me. Jesus is not just your savior. He is your teacher, but not the kind who grades you from a distance. He is gentle, humble. He doesn't demand you figure it out overnight. He doesn't raise his voice when you stumble. He leans in closer. He teaches you through mercy, not fear, through presence, not pressure, through stillness, not striving. His lessons are not about performance, they are about transformation. And the classroom is not a stage, it's a quiet place, right here in the night, where he whispers healing into the corners of your heart. For I am gentle and humble in heart. That means he doesn't meet your brokenness with condemnation. He meets it with kindness. He doesn't flinch at your fatigue. He doesn't rush your recovery. He welcomes you with open arms and a soft voice that says, "Come as you are. I'm not angry with you. I'm not disappointed. I'm here to restore you." In a world that often demands more than you have to give, Jesus is the one who simply says, "Let me carry you." And when you let him, when you truly hand him the weight, you will feel something you may not have felt in a long time. Relief, safety, a soul-deep breath you didn't know you were holding. So tonight, let that be your prayer, not for more strength to carry your burden, but for the courage to give it away, to place it in the hands of the one who is not just mighty, but tender. You are not too much for him. Your weariness is not a weakness to him. It is an invitation, a doorway to peace. Take my yoke upon you, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. Not just sleep, not just a pause, but rest. The kind of rest that quiets your fears and calms the storms that rage beneath the surface. This is not the kind of rest you get from finishing your tasks or checking everything off your list. This is deeper, quieter, sacred. It's the rest that comes when you stop hiding, when you stop performing, when you finally exhale the fear that you're not enough and inhale the truth that you are already loved. This is rest for the parts of you that no one sees, for the battle behind your smile, for the questions behind your quiet, for the ache behind your accomplishments. You will find rest for your souls. That means your weary spirit doesn't have to wander anymore. Your anxious thoughts don't have to win tonight. The places that feel bruised from carrying too much for too long, he sees them, and he comes to heal them, not with more to do, but with more of himself. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Matthew 11:30. His yoke is not a trap, it's a gift, an invitation into freedom, into relationship, into rhythm. Easy doesn't mean effortless. It means it fits. It was made for you. It means you don't have to force it or fake it. You were not designed to carry the kind of weight you've been bearing on your own. the weight of perfection, the pressure to always be okay, the expectation to never fall apart. That is not his burden. That is not your cross to carry. My burden is light, because it's not carried in isolation. It's carried in communion. You don't walk alone with Jesus, you walk with Jesus. He does not pile pressure on your shoulders. He lifts it. He doesn't break bruised reeds or snuff out smoldering wicks. He breathes life into them again. He strengthens what's weak. He steadies what's shaking. His burden is light because he carries the heaviest parts for you. So tonight, let this truth cradle you like the softest lullaby. You don't have to carry it all. You don't have to be everything for everyone. You don't have to fix it all before the morning. Let him be the strength you ran out of. Let him be the comfort you crave. Let him be the rest your soul has been searching for. Come to me, and you will find rest for your souls. That is not just a promise, it is your invitation, and it is waiting for you now. So tonight, let yourself be held. Let yourself exhale. Let yourself come just as you are, without explanation or apology. You don't have to prove anything. You don't have to do anything. You just have to come. Come to the one who sees you. Come to the one who knows you. Come to the one who calls you beloved. And as you lay your head down on the pillow, whisper it gently to your weary heart. Come to me, and I will give you rest. This is the rest you've been longing for, not just a break, but a renewal, a restoration, a deep, sacred pause in the arms of peace himself. You are safe now, safe to stop, safe to sleep, safe to be. 15. When you're ready to dream again, he gives sleep to his beloved. There comes a night, after the grief has quieted, after the pressure has eased, after the fight has softened, when you feel something stir inside you again. Not noise, not fear, but something tender, something sacred, a flicker of hope, a whisper of purpose, a tiny, almost unspoken question. Is it okay to dream again? For so long, you've been in survival mode, navigating pain, managing disappointment, carrying responsibility. There hasn't been space to imagine, to wonder, to breathe beyond the moment. But tonight, as you lie still beneath the hush of the heavens, that old longing returns. Not the striving kind, but the holy kind. The kind that remembers who you used to be before the weight of the world pressed you down. The kind that wonders if there's more ahead than what's been lost behind. The kind that aches, not for escape, but for destiny. And into that fragile ache, God speaks a verse as simple as it is profound. One that meets you not in ambition, but in rest. One that dares to link your dreams not with effort, but with belovedness. For so he gives his beloved sleep. Psalm 127:2. Let those words settle over your heart like a warm covering. He gives. You don't earn it. You don't chase it. You don't climb your way into it. He gives, freely, tenderly. Like a parent tucking in their child at the end of a long day, brushing the hair back from your forehead, whispering peace over your racing thoughts and weary spirit. This is not sleep laced with striving. It's not rest that comes only when you've checked every box or solved every problem. This is holy sleep. Sleep born of security, of trust, of knowing that the one who holds the galaxies also holds your soul. He gives. That means even in the moments when you feel undeserving, he still offers it. When you feel anxious, unfinished, unsure, he still extends his rest to you. Because this isn't about your performance. It's about his promise. You are his beloved, not his burden, not his disappointment, his beloved. And that means the gift of rest isn't a reward for perfection. It's a reflection of his heart, a heart that longs for you to be restored. So tonight, release the lie that says you must stay busy to matter. Let go of the fear that whispers, you haven't done enough. Sink instead into this truth. He gives his beloved sleep. He gives you sleep because he loves you, because he knows your frame, because he delights not just in your purpose, but in your presence, in your being, in your breath, in your resting. You are not forgotten. You are not left out. You are not too broken or too behind. You are his beloved, and tonight he gives not just rest, but renewal. Not just sleep, but dreams. Dreams born not of fear, but of faith. Not of pressure, but of promise. Not of your limits, but of his limitless grace. Let go now, close your eyes, and receive what only love can give. Rest, restoration, and the gentle knowing that you are safe, completely, eternally. You are his beloved, and he gives you sleep. His beloved, that's who you are. Not his employee, not his project, not his disappointment, not a task to be fixed, not a weight to be tolerated. His beloved, the one he delights in, the one he chose on purpose, the one he formed with tender care, not in a rush, but in reverence, the one he has never taken his eyes off of, not even for a moment. You are his beloved, the one he has watched over through every sleepless night, through every tear-streaked pillow, through every silent prayer you didn't have the strength to finish. He heard the words you couldn't say. He caught the tears you thought no one saw. And through it all, he never stopped loving you. He never withdrew his affection. He never retracted his claim. You are not forgotten. You are not too far gone. You are not a mistake he's trying to make the best of. You are the one he calls precious, the one he wraps in mercy, the one he surrounds with peace, the one he sings over with love. You are his beloved. And beloved ones, they're not asked to earn rest. They're given it, freely, generously, as an overflow of love, not as a reward for performance. You are not striving for affection. You are living from it. You are not fighting for a place at his table. You already have a seat with your name on it. Beloved ones are given sleep. Not just sleep for the body, but rest for the soul. Peace for the storm inside. Comfort that wraps around the ache like a warm embrace. They're given stillness, not because everything is solved, but because they are safe, even when everything is uncertain. And yes, they are given permission to dream again. Dream again, not with fear as your compass, but with hope as your anchor. Not with pressure to prove, but with joy in the becoming. Because you are no longer running to earn love. You are resting in it. You are no longer trying to be worthy. You are already called worthy by the one who matters most. So let these words cradle you now. Let them soften the corners of your heart. You are his beloved. You can stop performing. You can stop pretending. You can stop bracing for rejection. His love has already found you, and it's not leaving. You are safe to close your eyes, safe to exhale, safe to rest in arms that will never let you go, because you are not just anyone. You are his beloved. And beloved ones, they sleep in peace, they rise in promise, and they dream without fear. Because this kind of sleep, it's more than rest for your body. It's the soil where dreams are planted, the hush where visions are whispered, the holy pause where your spirit becomes open enough to receive fresh instructions for the road ahead. You don't have to figure it out tonight. You don't have to strategize your next move. You only have to lay down and trust that the one who knit you together is still weaving your future together too. The world says hustle. God says hush. The world says prove. God says pause. The world says dream by effort. God says dream by belonging. So, let this night be holy. Let it be healing. Let it be the place where new seeds are sown. Not in striving, not in panic, not in anxious overthinking or performance, but in surrender, in softness, in stillness. Let it be a night where you stop fighting for clarity and start resting in the mystery. Let it be the moment you stop measuring your worth by your productivity and remember that you are worthy simply because you are His. Let this be the night where you stop rehearsing the past and start receiving His peace. The night when you stop fearing tomorrow and start trusting the one who already holds it. The night when you exhale all the pressure you've been carrying and inhale the calm of divine nearness. The night when sleep is no longer delayed by your burdens, but deepened by your belovedness. Because there is one who sees you lying there in the dark, worn thin by the day, stretched by unseen battles. And He is not demanding more from you, He is inviting you into something sacred, into rest, into renewal, into a rhythm where grace replaces hustle and gentleness replaces fear. For so He gives His beloved sleep. Psalm 127:2. That's your lullaby now, not the voice of shame, not the noise of regret, not the to-do list in your mind, but this truth, sung softly over your soul by the God who never sleeps. You are my beloved, and I give you rest. Let that verse be your covering tonight. Let it wrap around your shoulders like a warm blanket of promise. Let it quiet the places where fear once lived. Let it silence the questions that rise when everything else grows still. You don't have to earn this peace. You don't have to qualify for this grace. You don't have to force your way into rest. It is given, freely, tenderly, deliberately, to you, because you are beloved. So tonight, let yourself drift, not into exhaustion, but into embrace, not into forgetfulness, but into fullness, not into sleep that simply shuts your eyes, but into sleep that opens your heart to the one who is still speaking destiny over you in the dark. You are safe now, safe to stop, safe to soften, safe to dream again, not because everything is perfect, but because you are perfectly loved. For so He gives His beloved sleep. Yes, beloved, that means you. The night is quiet now. The storm inside you has stilled, not because everything is perfect, but because you've chosen to rest in the arms of the one who is. One by one, your burdens have been laid down, not dismissed, not ignored, not brushed aside by shallow platitudes, but surrendered, tenderly, reverently, into hands strong enough to carry galaxies and gentle enough to cradle your soul. The same hands that shaped the mountains and painted the stars now cradle your heart. And tonight, you let them. You've walked through valleys tonight, valleys of fear, grief, weariness, and doubt. You've stood on the edge of mountains, looking out over dreams yet to come. You've knelt in gardens of regret, where the past still whispers its shame. You've wandered deserts of longing, where hope seemed like a mirage. You've cried prayers no one heard, fought battles no one saw, and waited in silence for a voice you weren't sure would come. But through it all, every valley, every climb, every ache, one thing has remained unwavering, immovable, and sure. God has been with you. He's been with you in the shadows, when no one else could see what you carried. He's been with you in the silence, when your prayers sounded like echoes. He's been with you when you were too weary to believe, too broken to speak, too tired to keep pretending you were okay. And He's still with you now, here, in this holy hush, in this sacred stillness. His presence fills the room like breath you didn't know you needed, like warmth you thought you lost, like peace that doesn't make sense, but settles anyway. He hasn't missed a single tear, not one breath, not one beat of your heart. The God who sits enthroned above the heavens has also sat with you in your loneliness. And now, as the weight lifts and the night deepens, you are beginning to realize something your spirit always knew. You were never walking alone. Not for a second. Not through the heartbreak, not through the waiting, not even through the nights when you felt abandoned. He was there. He is still there, and he will never leave. So breathe now, not just with your lungs, but with your soul. Breathe like someone who knows they are loved. Breathe like someone who is safe. Breathe like someone who's finally found their rest, not in escape, but in Emmanuel. God with us, always, intimately, eternally. Not far, not watching from a distance, but near, closer than breath. He's been the whisper in the silence, the hand in the darkness, the presence in the pain. He's spoken peace over your anxiety, covered your loneliness with wings of safety, filled your dryness with living water, rewritten the lies with truth. And now, he leans near, like a father tucking his child into bed, not demanding perfection, but offering presence. You are not the sum of your fears. You are not the weight of your past. You are not the echo of your mistakes. You are his. I have called you by name. You are mine. Isaiah 43:1. You are not defined by how others have treated you, nor by how long you've waited. You are defined by the one who created you, redeemed you, and calls you beloved. So breathe, beloved, not just with your body, but with your spirit. Let your breath become an act of worship. Let every inhale draw in his mercy like the scent of rain after a long drought. Let every exhale release your grip on the worry, the timeline, the outcome. Let go of the need to manage what only God can hold. You don't need to choreograph tomorrow. You don't need to fix tonight. You only need to rest. Let the truth of his word wrap around you now like a thick, woven blanket on a cold winter night. Not just something to read, but something to feel, something to sink into. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. Psalm 23, 1-3. Let that become your rhythm tonight. Let those words become the quiet pulse beneath your chest. You are not abandoned. You are not unloved. You are not drifting through this world without care. You are being led, gently, patiently, faithfully, by a shepherd who knows your name, your wounds, your pace. A shepherd who doesn't push, but invites, who doesn't shame, but shields, who doesn't grow weary even when you do. So lie down in the green pastures of grace. Let stillness become your sanctuary. Let the still waters of his spirit lull you into rest, not as an escape, but as a return to who you truly are, his, held, safe, whole, and utterly, completely loved. You are not required to fix everything before you sleep. You are not responsible for carrying what God has already promised to bear. Tonight is not about proving your faith. It's about receiving his love. It's about surrendering your striving. It's about being still, because he is God and you are his. And that is enough. You are safe now. Safe to let go of what you were never meant to carry. Safe to stop performing for a love that was already yours before you ever did a thing. Safe to stop running, striving, managing, pretending. Safe to stop trying to figure it all out before you lay your head down. The world may still spin fast, but here, in this sacred moment, you are invited to slow, to breathe, to rest. You are safe to be held, not just comforted, but completely embraced. By the arms that shape the stars, by the hands that bear the scars, by the heart that broke for you before you ever knew you needed saving. He will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will find refuge. Psalm 91:4. This isn't poetic fluff. This is protection. This is reality in the spirit. You are not out in the open, exposed and forgotten. You are tucked beneath the wings of the Almighty, sheltered from the arrows of accusation, hidden from the winds of fear, cradled in a refuge no storm can reach. His wings aren't fragile, they are fierce, wide enough to cover your worst nights, soft enough to soothe your most fragile moments, sure enough to never let you fall through. So let yourself sink into that covering now. No need to earn it, no need to explain yourself, just receive it. Let your soul whisper yes, let your breath deepen, let your heart unclench. You are covered, you are cherished, you are completely, eternally, unshakably safe. Safe to dream again, safe to hope again, safe to fall asleep knowing that your Father does not. Let this night be your reset, not just for your body, but for your identity. Let this be where your fear ends and your faith breathes. Let this be the night the voice of anxiety is replaced by the whisper of God. Let this be where striving ends and surrender begins. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are becoming. You are not forgotten. You are chosen. You are not alone. You are carried. You are not unloved. You are cherished. You are not empty. You are filled. You are not condemned. You are free. You are not abandoned. You are known. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Matthew 11:28. And he has, gently, quietly, faithfully, in the stillness of this night and in the sacred corners of your ache, he has drawn near, not with pressure, but with peace, not with noise, but with a whisper, not with demands, but with a gift. Rest, true rest, not the kind the world gives, not the fleeting relief that comes and goes, but the deep soul-level rest that comes from being known, seen, and completely loved. And he will, again and again. When the weight returns, when the questions crowd your thoughts, when the exhaustion of life presses in and you wonder if you'll ever feel whole again, he will come. Not with condemnation, but with compassion. Not with more for you to carry, but with arms ready to carry you. That's the rhythm of grace, the rhythm of mercy, the rhythm of heaven's love song over your life. He meets you not once, but always. Not when you're strong, but precisely when you feel like collapsing. That's the God who calls you mine. That's the Savior who walked dusty roads so you could know peace in your own. Until your soul begins to recognize the cadence of his kindness, until your heart begins to trust the gentleness of his ways, until your spirit breathes in the comfort of his voice and says, I'm home here, I'm safe here, I can rest here. This is not a one-time moment. This is the beginning of a rhythm, a sacred rhythm, where every weary place in you learns the steady pulse of his love. Again and again, he will draw you close. Again and again, he will be enough. Again and again, he will give you rest. So now, let's close this night the way we've lived these past 3 hours, in stillness, in trust, and in prayer. Father, we come to you in this quiet moment, no longer rushing, no longer resisting, no longer pretending we're okay when we're not. We've spent so many days bracing ourselves against the world, holding up masks to stay strong, carrying burdens we were never meant to shoulder. But tonight, we exhale. Tonight, we let go. We come not with polished words or perfect prayers, but with our full, fragile selves. We come because you said, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." Matthew chapter 11:28. And we are weary, and we are burdened, but you are rest. Thank you, Lord, for your nearness tonight, for the sacred hush that whispers you are here, for the comfort of your presence, for the tenderness of your voice, for the warmth of your spirit that wraps around us like a blanket we didn't know we needed. Thank you for being the kind of God who doesn't shout from afar, but stoops low to meet us in our sorrow. You are not distant. You are not cold. You are not disappointed in our weakness. You are Emmanuel, God with us. We thank you for chasing us down with grace, even when we didn't know how to ask for it. When we were too numb to pray, when we were too tired to try. You came anyway. You held us anyway. You kept watching over us anyway. Thank you for every silent rescue, every hidden miracle, every whisper of comfort that pulled us back when the night felt too long. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Psalm 34:18. Tonight, we surrender to you everything we've been carrying. Our anxious thoughts, our weary hearts, our aching memories, our unspoken fears, our uncertain futures. We bring them all, not because we know what tomorrow holds, but because we trust that you do. We lay them down at the foot of your throne, and in exchange, we pick up peace, not the kind the world gives, but the kind that only you can give. You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast because they trust in you. Isaiah 26:3. Wrap us in your peace tonight, O Lord. Let every racing thought slow to the rhythm of your heart. Let every shadow be cast out by the light of your truth. Let every regret be covered by the blood of Jesus, and every lie silenced by the sound of your promises. Quiet the voice of guilt. Calm the voice of fear. Drown out the noise with the lullaby of your love. The eternal God is your refuge, and underneath are the everlasting arms. Deuteronomy 33:27. Let your arms hold us now, Father. Let them cradle the broken places we've hidden. Let them lift the heavy ones we've tried to carry alone. Let them wrap around us like a fortress of quiet hope. We don't need to understand everything. We just need to know we're held. May your Spirit sing over us tonight. Sing songs of mercy, songs of healing, songs of identity and redemption, songs that restore what the day tried to steal. Let this night become holy ground, not because everything is fixed, but because you are here, right here, in the silence, in the stillness, in the sigh of release as we finally stop striving. For so he gives his beloved sleep. Psalm 127:2. And we are your beloved, not for what we do, not for how strong we are, but because you chose us, because you made us, because you delight in us. You sing over us, you weep with us, you walk beside us. So we receive it now, your gift of rest. We receive your peace. We receive your love, fully, freely, finally. We let it soak into the dry places. We let it flow through the cracks. We let it become the melody that carries us into sleep. This sleep is not a break from the battle. It's part of the healing. It's not weakness, it's worship. It's not giving up, it's giving in to you, into your presence, into your arms. And so, Lord Jesus, we lie down in faith, not in fear. We lie down in surrender, not in shame. We lie down in the promise that we are never alone. In peace I will lie down and sleep, for you alone, Lord, make me dwell in safety. Psalm 4:8. Thank you for being our shepherd, our shield, our song in the night. Thank you for loving us beyond our understanding and carrying us into peace deeper than we've ever known. In Jesus' precious, powerful name, we lay it all down, and in Jesus' presence, we lie down to sleep. Amen. Good night, beloved. You are safe now. You are covered. You are seen, and you are held. Thank you so much for spending this sacred time with us tonight. If this video brought you peace, comfort, or encouragement, we invite you to share it with someone else who may need God's voice in the silence too. Be sure to subscribe and stay connected for more biblical encouragement, sleep meditations, and reminders that you are not alone, no matter how dark the night feels. Until next time, sleep peacefully in His love. And remember, you are His beloved.